The weather couldn't rain on the Reds parade. Bengals camp is in full swing. Evander makes MLS history. And will James make his return to the desk? Well, it's time to find out. First Word starts now.
Welcome to First Word, Cincinnati's only morning sports show, breaking down the biggest moments and the stories shaping Cincinnati sports with analysis that cuts through. First Word, setting the agenda in Cincinnati sports.
Good morning and welcome into First Word. I'm Marisa Contipelli alongside Jacob Tissot and James Rapien.
Yay!
Back with us this morning.
Let's
Welcome
go.
back, buddy.
I'm excited to be here. Buddy, don't do that. Don't buddy me. You can buddy Paul.
We did it to Paul.
You can do it to Paul. Pat Paul on the head. I wonder where he is today. But yeah, don't buddy me. Goodness gracious. I'm excited to be back. Excited to be here on this Monday, and thanks for all of the YouTube chatters wondering where I was. I appreciate it. So, no, it's good to be back. Worried is relative.
There were some good guesses throughout the last few days.
Yeah. Did you guys think I was coming back?
I started to lose some confidence.
Really?
I'm not so sure.
It was 50-50.
50-50.
I was confident you were going to return, but then you know how he gets, where he'll get on this,
Was he
this
impacting
train.
you?
A little bit, yeah.
Look, I was conspiracy theories all over the place. I wasn't sure when you were coming back.
Yeah. Jacob is very, yes, for sure. Like
reactionary.
If Joe Burrow doesn't show up for practice today, he's going to be like, oh my God, what's going on? Why is Joe not there? He's got an aloe shoot or something that's
This is the reason we have worst word of the week constantly about Joe Burrow.
Oh, there we go. And I saw those. And you guys did a great job holding it down. I tuned in as much as I can. Should I tell them why I wasn't here? Because it wasn't vacation. I'm not tan. I didn't pull a Jeremy Rowell or a Jay Morrison showing up here tan-mogging. I didn't do that. No. My wife and I had our third child on July 21st. And the Crown and the First Word crew held it down enough for me to take some time with the family, which is the first time really I've been able to do that with any of our three children. And so really, really grateful for that. Excited, obviously, for baby 3. She's sleeping really, really well, I think, as of right now still. And so you couldn't ask for mama or baby to be happier, healthier, etc. So we're in a rhythm. Which is the key with a newborn, and yeah, really, really excited to be back in the fold, though.
That is all fantastic to hear, and a big congratulations to not only this side of the desk, but everyone here at the Crown. Really excited for you and the family.
Yeah, for sure. Outnumbered now. How do you plan on attacking that one?
It's big. I think the thing is the 3-year-old and the 1-year-old, at least over the first 2 weeks as of tomorrow, will be I carry them.
Okay.
Mom handles the newborn.
There we go.
Because I can't feed the newborn always. Mom is better at that, and then I can throw around the other two. They're tough enough to handle it, so that's the key.
That's good stuff.
So there we go. So tackling, tying it all together. Tackling is part of it, and we'll get into some training camp takeaways, some Bengals stuff. Let's talk that baseball. Let's talk that baseball. The Reds keep winning.
Pretty good while you were out of here.
I'll be honest.
They better keep it up now that you're back.
I can't run from it anymore. Last week we were texting, and I'm like, this might be a thing. You want to talk about things that got in Jacob's head? Are the Reds good if I'm gone? I know you guys are. I may just go. If they keep winning, it would be great. But if they start losing, then I think Marisa may kick me off the desk anyway.
Yeah, sacrifices are going to have to be made if that ends up happening, because I would love to be talking about the Reds late September.
Yeah, brutal timing for you to come back right before the trade deadline and potentially ship some pieces out of here. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be a much different team with you back at the desk.
Yeah, it could be. The good news is that they handled business. They did the impossible.
Okay.
That's right.
No.
It's not the impossible.
Remember when they handled business at PNC, though? Jacob,
wait, that's right.
They did the impossible. Well, they ran it back, and they whooped the Pirates. And yesterday was a lot of fun, despite the delays and the diamond being rough and all of those things. I like offense. And so when the Reds hit, I'm in, and the Reds hit plenty. just scoring a touchdown early, handling business in this game. I love it.
Yeah, it's always nice to score a touchdown early against Pittsburgh. It's always something you want to see. So it's nice to score 10 runs in any game, but when Chase Burns is on the mound, it's usually going to give you a win. Get wins more often than not when he's pitching anyway. 12 straight decisions, wins for Burns, but the offense was phenomenal. It was really good all weekend, and that's something that's really encouraging about this team, playing against some of the Pirates' frontline starters, Skeens in the mix, Ashcraft in the mix, and this Reds offense put their best foot forward this weekend, which is something we've wanted to see for a while now.
They did. First Reds since 1956 to win 12 straight decisions. Just unreal stuff by Chase Burns. And honestly, after Sal hit that home run in the first inning, I was like, oh, all right, we're good. That's all we need for the day. Needed a little bit more than that, but what they put up in the first, it was great that they played out from in front and in the lead and were able to get the series win on Sunday.
Yeah. Huge there. We have the trade deadline looming. We'll dive more into the Reds and what they did over the weekend. The deadline is 10 hours and 55 minutes away. Will Elly De La Cruz be a Red in 10 hours and 56 minutes?
He better be.
Are you nervous?
No.
You're not nervous about
Not
that?
even a little bit.
That's interesting.
It's not even
That
close
makes
to
me
like
nervous
Hunter
that he's
level.
not nervous.
For sure. You did this like an hour ago. We're talking. He's like, oh, Elly, no chance. And I'm like,
You know what's going to happen? By the time we're in the final hour of the show, he's going to be completely 180'd. And he's going to be...
There's certainly a chance.
Because that happens all the time.
There's 100% a chance that happens. But as of right now, level of concern is below 1.
I think that's the right call, though, Marisa. It will be above 10 by the end of the show. It's kind of my mission now. We'll see if I get there. One mission that the Bengals have is getting a lot more sacks this year, getting pressure, making quarterbacks uncomfortable. Dexter Lawrence did just that last week. And I was following along. I get it. I was out on baby leave, but I was trying to pay attention as much. But training camp was weird. Training camp starts, all this stuff is happening, and I'm like, here, I'll pull out my phone. I was, wiping butt, and then I'm like, Dexter Lawrence made an impact. And even though I haven't been at practice, you don't have to be at practice to know the impact that he's made. Joe Burrow made that very, very clear after his first practice against Dexter Lawrence last week.
Yeah, he got back there pretty quick a couple times. We're going to have to get that thing out. Make some blind throws today just because of how big he is. And, he pushes that pocket, gets close to you, and you have to be able to throw around him, throw without seeing. And it gets us ready for the games, but that's a challenge. So that's going to be a big part of our team this year. I'm excited to watch it.
I love how this Dexter Lawrence effect is already being, felt over at Paycor Stadium. Ted Karras also has talked about just going up against Dexter every day. Dalton Reisner is he's going to make that offense and offensive line so much better. And I'm so excited to hear, especially a guy like Joe, talk about his impact already.
Yeah, when you make a move of that magnitude in the offseason, you hope to see it this early in camp. And not always the case. Sometimes it takes time for those guys to get comfortable in the new facility or in the new system or something along those lines. Not with Dexter Lawrence. He's been an impact since he got to Cincinnati. Didn't really leave the building through the first stretch of the offseason, and now day 1, day 2 of training camp, you're seeing him out there. He's the headliner, already making an impact on this team. So that's the goal when the front office trades the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence, and then now to see him, do all the stuff we want him to do off the field. Now it'll just translate to on the field through training camp and until week 1. Today
is the day. Because the pads are coming on today, and I'm excited to see that element of it as well. But yeah, his presence I felt it being out on leave. You guys felt it. You covered it. You had Anthony Munoz on a couple weeks ago talking about where he was at when the trade happened. Like, this sent ripple effects throughout the organization, and I think we're seeing why now. And so I'm seeing some of these lists, and the latest one I saw, Dexter wasn't even on it for defensive tackles. And I'm like, man,
I'm shocked.
It's wild because you just watch. And in Saturday, Marisa mentioned Ted. We'll hear from Ted coming up. Ted's like, oh, he always gets one, and he's a bleep to deal with. Yeah, if you have a bleep to deal, you know who else is? Jamar is, and Joe is, and T is. You need that on defense. They finally have that. They have a guy that is going to keep offensive coordinators up, that is going to keep opposing offensive linemen up at night. And even if they contain him Well, now it's going to free up these other guys. We saw Boye Mafe making some plays. That Jalen Davis interception on Saturday. Jalen Davis had an interception. Boye Mafe tipped Joe Burrow's pass because Burrow was rolling up. That's what happens when you get pushed up the middle. You make a major impact on the quarterback. You affect the quarterback. And when's the last time the Bengals affected the quarterback? Since another number 97 was in town, right? Outside of Trey, of course. And you could say 2021, and it was a bunch of guys. But they haven't had a game-changing defensive tackle like this in nearly a decade.
That's something we talked about on Friday when Joe Daneman joined us, is having that elite-level player on the defense like they do on offense to try to balance that out a little bit. And with Trey, as great as he was at his peak, 17.5 sacks, 2 seasons in a row, it felt like teams could try to eliminate him. And if he wasn't sacking the quarterback, what was he doing on a given play? There wasn't a ton of impact outside of his individual production. Not the case with Dexter Lawrence. You have that similar, if not even higher caliber player, and when he's not showing up on the stat sheet, he can still potentially be the most impactful player on that defense. And that's something the Bengals have been missing really for multiple years now. And to have that just kind of dropped into the middle and seemingly hitting the ground running without missing a step is huge for this team as they try to rebuild the defense at a speed that we haven't really seen in the NFL in a long time.
We have a ton of Bengals training camp stuff. You guys got into your top 10 Bengals. I get to do mine today. I'm excited about that because I was jealous as you guys were going on the top 10. It's a harder exercise than you realize. When I sat down to do it, I was like, oh, this will be easy. And then I'm like, oh.
Order gets tricky.
It gets really tricky. So I'm excited to surprise you guys with my top 10. I sent it to the control room yesterday, so we have that. But we have the trade deadline. And the trade deadline is now 11 hours and 49 minutes away. As of right now, 11 hours and 49 minutes. Will Dane Myers be a Red? It's the question everybody's asking. Dane Myers talked with Joe Daneman after the game yesterday.
There are so many guys in this room that they don't know what's going to happen. What do you think this next 24 hours will be like?
Yeah, probably a lot of anxiousness, but it's part of the game, part of the business. But obviously you can't worry about that as a player. You kind of off day tomorrow, so that's nice just to sit around and hopefully not too much is going on, but part of it. But hopefully everybody stays.
That's the thing. I know you're not in the front office, but how much would you like to see this group get a longer runway here in the second half to see what you can do?
Yeah, I mean, I have full belief in the guys in this clubhouse, so obviously I want to see everybody stay and being my first year here, kind of grew close to everybody in the clubhouse, so if I do got to say bye to some guys, it'll be tough, but I think this team still has what it takes to compete, and like you said, I think we put ourselves in position to make a push for the second half, so if that's the case, hopefully I'll be happy.
The deadline is looming, that courtesy of Joe Daneman. Guys like Dane Myers, he has team control. It's not like they need to trade him. I think that's what's interesting is the balance the Reds are going to have with team control versus let's make moves here, let's try to make ourselves better. We're 5.5 back in the wild card. No, it's a delicate balance.
Yeah, value kind of seems to be all over the place, too, early at the deadline. You see some controllable pitchers getting back significant returns. You see some controllable pitchers getting back, seemingly lottery ticket prospects. So I think with a lot of the questions for the Reds, especially the guys with control beyond this year, it's what can you get back? And we talked about that a lot with Hunter Green and the higher level players, but I think it applies to everyone on this roster that's under contract beyond this year. You have to get a return that makes sense. You shouldn't just move guys to move guys.
Yeah, I'm eager to see what the first move ends up being. I would be shocked if the Reds don't make any moves here before the deadline, but that first move to really kind of set the tone for us to know truly if they're kind of the direction that they're going to be heading.
I want to play over-under at some point today. Just number of trades they make.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because they should make some trades. I think we all agree they should make some trades. They likely will make some trades. We will certainly see. As the clock is ticking, guess what? 11 hours, 47 minutes until the trade deadline. How about that? You like the ticker?
I like the ticker.
Yeah. Up next, everything you missed while you slept right here on First Word.
Chris Henry Jr., a promising freshman, the son of the former Bengal Chris Henry, he's got a chance to be in that rotation. Brandon Ennis returning as well. They brought in a couple of transfers, Devin McEwen from San Antonio and Kyle Parker from LSU. So they've got some guys around Jeremiah Smith that will take some of the heat off of him. He may miss Carnell Tate taking some of those double coverages away, though.
Steve, you're leading this conversation perfectly because I wanted to ask you about Chris Henry Jr. and the rest of that receivers room. And with Chris Henry Jr. coming in as a 5-star prospect, really, really excited to see him out there on the field. Just maybe what are some of your early expectations, for this youngster coming in and making an impact on this offense?
Yeah, he's obviously one of the top 25 players in the country coming out of high school out in California. And again, he is a guy that can stretch defenses vertically and horizontally. He's got the size, 6'4", to go up and take the ball away from a defensive back. I don't want to say he's Randy Moss or anoint him in any way. In that regard, would be unfair comparisons for such a young guy. But I think he did impress the coaching staff. Cortez Hankton, the new wide receivers coach who replaced Brian Hartline, coming in from LSU, and also Arthur Smith, the new offensive coordinator. I think they really liked some of the young playmakers that they saw in this offense. And Chris Henry Jr., I think he's going to get every opportunity to start for this team. Maybe not in the first game, maybe not in the second game at Texas, but I would think very soon in this season, he's going to be out there for a lot of the plays. And I think he's a guy that's going to be a lot of fun to watch, I think, for Buckeye fans for the next couple of years.
This is the Rebound Rundown. I'm your host, Paul Fritchner. Your home for college basketball in the Cincinnati area and across the country every Monday through Friday during the season. Previews, recaps, breakdowns, interviews, and more. You can find it all right here. Your one-stop shop for a quick dose of college hoops on your morning commute. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Every morning, Cincinnati wakes up and gets to work. Companies are built, deals are made, restaurants open, ideas become careers, and every day the people behind it all sit down at the working lunch. Founders, CEOs, entrepreneurs, community leaders, the people building Cincinnati. The Working Lunch with Jack Crumley, weekdays, noon to 1, only on The Crown.
This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Welcome back to First Word. I'm James Rapien, back in the saddle here alongside Marisa Contipelli and Jacob Tissot. Jacob, you sure you didn't want to bring us back?
Yeah, I'm good. We tried that once. Didn't go well.
Oh, I didn't realize that because I wasn't here. I showed up for work for the first time in a couple weeks.
Welcome back.
There we go. Everything I thought about, I was like, you know what we should do is everything I missed.
We don't have time for that.
Correct. It would have taken up way too much time.
We're only on air for 4 hours.
It would have been entertaining for us, not the people. No. What the people want is everything they missed while they slept. And it starts with Chase Burnsing. That man just balling out. See, Burnsing doesn't sound necessarily positive, but it is because he's been awesome. They continue to win. 16-5 in Chase Burns starts?
Sure.
16-5, elite. So they just need 4 more Chase Burnses, and they're an elite team. That's all. That's all they need between now and the trade deadline at 6 o'clock. But regardless, Chase Burns is awesome. The Reds handled business, and despite the weird conditions that he had to pitch through yesterday, still pitched through them and played well.
Yeah, I think most teams would kill for one Chase Burns. So I'll take the one we got, and really, really happy every time he's on the mound. I think at this point, when you see games like yesterday, and honestly like we've seen for the last 12 or so starts, it's how many more of these do we have left, because they're so much fun to watch. And yesterday, I think, was a great sign that he's building beyond what we've seen so far. So much of the conversation over the last few starts has been 5-inning starts and heavy pitch counts. Well, you have a 25-minute, I guess it wasn't a delay. What do you call it when they fix the field and don't play baseball? Usually you call that a delay, but 25 minutes in between pitches. He comes back in, gives you 2 more innings going through 6, and just really, really great to see from Burns yesterday. It was really hard to pitch through the rain, was hitless until it started to sprinkle, and then obviously allowed the 1 run, but just another phenomenal start. 13-1 now on the year, the only rookie with an ERA, or first-year starter with an ERA below 3, and he's at a 2.35. So unbelievable for Burns so far this year, and he just keeps getting better.
First Red since 1956 to win 12 straight decisions. And you mentioned only gave up 2 hits. First time since May 14th, 2 or fewer hits allowed in a game. Just phenomenal.
Yeah, still pitching well. See, I know wins are wins and that's it. 20 wins would be really cool.
It'd be awesome.
You're at 13. It's so close. That's how I felt a couple years ago about Jamar getting to 20 touchdowns. I was like, get there. Just get there. And he dropped 2 in the final 2 weeks. Never going to forgive you, Jamar. But Chase, it's like, and he's not going to get the chance. I'd be surprised if he did. But man, so close.
It's all those milestones that make it so tough to swallow a potential pitch inning limit or pitch count, because if you have a top 5 Cy Young finish in your first full season, if you have 20 wins in your first full season, those are points on your resume that stay forever. And now you're taking away a solid chance at that for Burns this season with those kinds of limits. So that's a tough pill to swallow, I'm sure, for a young pitcher. But when you're locked up for 7 years, I think it makes it a little bit easier.
Yep. Locked up. Playing well. Here's what Chase Burns had to say after his stellar performance against the Pirates.
Was it the pitch?
Yeah, it sucked. Of course, raining constantly and not knowing if we're going to put the tarp on or not. But I knew both teams want to get that game in, so it's kind of just a grind, but got through it.
You got through 5. Is there even thought you might have maybe we had a big lead? They might lift me here. Did you lobby to go back out? Was there anything going on?
Yeah, they just asked me, hey, how you feeling? You want to go back out? And I was like, yeah, let's go.
It seemed like Terry even said it, that when you came back out after the hiatus, that you kind of took it up another notch. Is that how you felt? Like you felt maybe a little charged up to get back out?
Yeah, I definitely didn't feel good just sitting in the dugout, but kind of just mentally locked back in, and I was pumped up to go out there, and I was just pissed off kind of, so it kind of helped me get through it.
You throws a couple hitters with fastballs for strikeouts today. Kind of were you expecting that to be a big part of the success?
Yeah, I think a lot of guys have been trying to see the ball up on my fastball, and so we kind of talked about that today, and just trying to get the ball down a little bit. It makes the slider better. It makes them think about it a little bit more.
How many times have you pitched in conditions like that?
Not many. This is probably the first time. I think usually they stop the game, but like I said, I know both teams wanted to get that in, so made it happen.
All the great numbers you have so far this year, team's 16-5 in your 21 starts. Is that the most important numbers?
Yeah, I think every time you take the ball, your job is to put up as many zeros as possible, and try to get the team the best position to win. So I take pride in that, and in the limiting runs, and trying to win.
4th series win post All-Star break for this Reds team, and I know you can keep. Hopefully, we're going to keep counting on that.
We'll see.
But
All eyes on me now.
Another NL Central series win, though. That's the big one for me.
Yeah, you got to start beating these teams. You're going to have to play them next year, and you're going to have to play them the year after that. So get this core to learn how to beat these divisional teams. That matters.
Or get back in it this year, Jacob, and buy at the deadline. I didn't say they should.
Only 5.5 out of the wild card.
I'm just saying.
What are you doing?
What do you mean? Just throwing out ideas. I'm the ideas guy. Buy?
Those are the ideas. Get back off.
They keep winning. See, that's the thing. If you send me off the desk, they'll probably keep winning.
I know.
You leave me on the desk, history says they're going to keep losing.
All I'm going to say is this A series is gonna show a lot.
Yeah, they're off.
We'll find out Tuesday.
So that's the The interesting part of this is we're not going to start to find out until tomorrow.
Have you
So
thought
it'll be a
about
couple
the
days.
fact that if you would have taken off like 2 weeks earlier, then
Would've
they
saved
might
the
have
season?
started and they would have actually been good by the deadline?
I haven't until now. It's really, really unfortunate. It's tough because today's such a big, big day. Am I going to be bad luck for the trade dedeadline for the Reds? That's the other. You just made a face. What if I am? What if I come back and they make another Cabrian Hayes trade, where it's just dead weight? One guy that they could trade is Tyler Stevenson. Contract year for Ty Steve. Hit a home run in his potential final at bat with the Reds. Was certainly emotional. This courtesy of Joe Danneman of Fox 19. Emotional afterward with Jim Day, and then he talked about the possibility of being traded in the clubhouse afterward.
What do you anticipate the next 24 hours will be like for you personally?
I don't know yet. I'm just going to enjoy it, see what happens.
What are you doing tomorrow?
I don't know yet. I don't know.
You got breakfast plans or anything?
My wife and I did talk. Just kind of go around maybe to some different places throughout the city that we enjoy, just in case. I don't know yet. We'll see.
Are you the guy that just doesn't want to pay attention, try to get away from it, or are you curious to keep an eye on it?
Just ready for it to be over with, honestly. So, yeah.
Now, no one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. And your first at-bat in a Reds uniform was a home run. Not knowing what tomorrow reads, that could be poetic what just happened. Were there any thoughts when you were around in the bases?
Oh, man, I'm going to be emotional. It was pretty special. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot going on. Yeah.
I know there is. And I'm not looking for you to comment on this.
Yeah.
But let the record show. You're a good man. You're a pro's pro. You're a pleasure to be around every day.
Thank you.
That is Tyler Stevenson. Let's go back to the set.
I think that's a good reminder that there's a human element to this, and the trade deadline means moving, and moving stinks. Just like Chase Burns said, playing in the rain sucks, and the conditions suck. Guess what? Moving sucks. And if you have to move cities in the middle of a season, even though you're a pro and all those things, it's a lot. So I get it. Tyler Stevenson's been here for a long time. It would be very emotional if he gets traded.
Longest tenured Red currently, and I don't think there's many more likable guys in my lifetime that have put on that uniform. I mean, he's been a joy to watch behind the plate, and I think when you see stuff like that, it's a little head-scratching that it's been so hard for this organization and him to find terms on a contract extension. Seems like it always made sense timeline-wise that he would stick around at least for a few more years, and that's never come to fruition. So now here we are, trade deadline day on an expiring contract year, and it seems like he's on the way out, which I don't think is how anyone thought this was going to go, say, a few years ago when he was a part of this core, still is a part of this core. One of the few bats you can rely on a day-in, day-out basis, and has improved his play behind the plate to a level that I don't think many of us expected he could get to at really any point in his career. It's been awesome to watch Tyler Stevenson wear a Reds uniform, and I hope today isn't the last day, but it seems like it's headed that direction.
Yeah, he's meant so much to this team, and it's really hard to watch interviews like that and seeing guys like Tyler Stevenson get emotional, in that post-game setting. But the way he was kind of getting emotional kind of makes me think he believes that was probably his last game in a Reds uniform.
Yeah. No, I think the writing is certainly on the wall that it happens. Whether or not it does, the Reds can't just give away everybody. That's something that just contract year, you got to give them away. It's like, okay, it's still a negotiation, and you can't just here, have them. That's it. That's fine. We'll take whatever you want. Maybe you don't want what they're offering. And so there's that part of it between now and the trade deadline. More on the Reds and the trade deadline coming up. But Ted Karras probably had the quote of the weekend on Saturday when he described what it was like having to deal with this Bengals defensive front, specifically Dexter Lawrence.
Today felt like, going against like the 2016 New England defense. I just think we have a lot of great players. I think 97. I mean, he gets like one a day on me, which I got to eliminate. If you saw that last period, I'm just fighting to the end there. And it's just me and him in the middle. So you better bring your freaking going against Dexter Lawrence.
You got to be on your bleeping bleep when you go up against Dexter Lawrence. That's the quote of camp so far.
Absolutely, and I hope that they're all on their bleep and bleep by week 1, and I think Dexter Lawrence is going to help everyone. We've talked about the impact on the defense, but also on the offensive line and everyone on that side of the ball as well through training camp, get the best out of everybody. Just great to see that they're feeling that impact on the field right now already.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, you knew he was going to come in and impact not only the defensive line, but the linebackers, secondary in some way. Love, love, love to see the impact that is being felt among these offensive linemen.
Yeah, it's huge for the defensive front. 2, Ted Karras has a lot to prove too. And he's been really good, like under the radar, good, because he doesn't get the love that Amarius Mims and the breakout potential and all those things. He's been really good, and he's in a contract year. And so if you're Ted, looking to prove yourself a little bit, I think he summed up dealing with Dexter Lawrence really, really nicely there, which we'll only have to do for a few more weeks. And then guess what? Opponents will have to deal with him. The Bengals putting the pads on today. We'll dive into that coming up. But FC Cincinnati, little rally. I'm not going to lie. I looked on Saturday and it was 2-1, and I'm like, oh, man, doesn't feel great. FC Cincinnati and Evander, doubt them at your own risk here, because they rallied. Evander handled business, and so did FC Cincinnati 4-2 over San Diego.
It was an exciting one.
Or San Jose, excuse me.
Yeah, exciting one to watch. The FC Cincinnati's 3rd consecutive win at TQL Stadium, obviously it being massive coming off of the result up in Columbus that they fell during the Hell is Real match. But Evander is just such a special player, and he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, he is. Pat Noonan summed up the match and the rally, and Evander afterward.
Yeah, you always learn about a group when you have letdowns like we had in Columbus, and we addressed it early, and we tried to spend the rest of the week with the right training focus and moving past it to be ready for tonight. And it felt that way during the week, and it looked that way with our performance. So, I'm happy for the group that now the feeling's better and the performance was better. A lot of the things that didn't, I don't want to say go our way, that we didn't do well previously, we made all the right decisions tonight as far as how to get the ball up the field, how to attack, how to get guys in good spots, how to be in more control of what the game looked like. And they were still very dangerous in transition and caused us problems. But I think those moments were far fewer because of the way we moved the ball. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. It's tough to win, and you can always take things from games to say, this is what we're capable of. This is how we can be punished. And the game is always going to present those things. But we have gotten 2 results. I wouldn't say our play against Vancouver was as strong as it was tonight, but the result makes it feel better. That's reality. Like I said, if tonight the result doesn't go in our favor, I'm sitting there for a long stretch of that game pleased with our play, and the result can alter how you feel or how you assess it. But I thought we performed very well and kept pushing in a good way, and subs came on and did an excellent job. They were ready, so that was encouraging as well to have guys pushing like those guys are. And we know we can beat top teams, but we know we can lose to anybody. That's what we've shown, and we're trying to be more consistent.
I know we talk about Evander a lot, but tonight's performance, where does that kind of rank for you? He crossed 100 goal contributions in his 104th match. What does that say about him?
He was spectacular tonight. Our conversation post Columbus when he returned from the All-Star festivities was about force and plays and him feeling this pressure to always provide production and plays for our group. And sometimes when you push and trying to do too much, it's counterproductive. Tonight he just made all the right decisions, and the pass to Brian in how he's how deceptive he is in that moment to free up Brian. And, the pass to Tom, he could still make a bunch of plays, even when he doesn't try to do the spectacular, and a goal and 3 assists in the fashion in which he does it. I'll continue to say it's our job and his teammates' job to find him in the right spots. It's his job to understand our approach to the game plan and being able to be disciplined with that. And if it's not working, we adjust to try to free him up in ways to impact the game. But it was a really good response from him. That was as strong as he's performed and off of the week we had.
Evander's strike in that 82nd minute put FC Cincinnati ahead. Now, that was the 6th time this season he scored from outside the box, leading MLS. Evander, with a goal and 3 assists on the night, now has 22 goal contributions, leading MLS as well. And guys, also put him over the 103 career goal contributions list now, with 104 in 104 games, becoming the fifth fastest player, to reach the 100 mark.
Yeah, 8 straight games with a goal contribution. That's what you need from your best player. So if FCC wants to get back to the top of the table, get any more of that from Evander.
Love it. Love seeing him ball out. They've been must watch. And, 4-2. Handling business. FC Cincinnati rolling on. We are rolling on here on a Monday. Up next, it's trade deadline day. We will discuss it right here on First Word.
What is The Crown? It's simple, really. Authentic Cincinnati entertainment. Not hot takes from a studio 3 states away. Not national noise pretending to know this city. Rather, bringing a voice to those who call the Queen City home. Where can I watch The Crown shows? Join us live from 7 to 11 a.m. for First Word and 12 to 1 for the Working Lunch on RESN. No live TV? No problem. Stream and interact with all of our content on major podcast, broadcast, and streaming platforms. The Crown is Cincinnati. Loud, passionate, competitive, proud. From early morning sports debates to the business leaders shaping the riverfront, to the fans, stories, moments, and culture that make this place move. Live shows, podcasts, documentaries, digital content built from Cincinnati, for Cincinnati. This is The Crown.
Drafted Chris Jenkins. I thought it was a really high floor. Like, maybe he's not an all-pro, but his floor is going to be really, really high. He's going to become B.J. Hill, or he's going to become a really solid defensive tackle that's good against the run, that can play 3 downs. And maybe he gets there. But yeah, he is not a lock entering training camp to make this roster. I will say this, though, because I thought on draft night, after the draft wrapped up in the 7th round, they got Landon Robinson as well. And I was texting with someone in the building, and I was like, man, Chris Jenkins Jr. is going to have to really earn his spot. And I mentioned Landon, and the person I was texting with was like, look, we still love Chris now. And so I think both can be true. It's going to be hard for him. He's going to have to earn it. At the same time, everything I've said about Jonathan Allen and B.J. Hill thriving because they're no longer going to be double-teamed ever because of Dexter Lawrence, well, Chris Jenkins Jr. could benefit from that as well. Entering year 3 certainly needs to make a major leap. We'll see if he does. It's his 2nd year working with defensive line coach Jerry Montgomery. So before we even get into the trade part of it, I think that there's a realistic chance that he does make a leap, that he does take that step, that he becomes the guy. Because year 3, B.J. Hill in year 3 was still learning it too. And if that's the comp, like, maybe this is the perfect room for him to learn and take the step forward. And the nice thing about this Bengals defense is outside of linebacker, there's not many positions where they're like, hey, we need this young guy to be awesome right away. And in past years, that was the case. If Chris Jenkins takes a step, great. But that isn't necessarily a need because of everything you've done. You've insulated yourself there. But I do think it is realistic, and you have to take this into consideration if you're going to field trade offers for him. is that Chris Jenkins does take a step forward and does become a serviceable or better NFL player. I don't think he's just going to fall off the map here. I think he's going to end up being a solid player. And if he's going to do that, if he's on that path, you have to take that in consideration before you trade him.
This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
We are back and rolling with you on this Monday morning here on First Word. Marisa Contipelli alongside Jacob Tissot and James Rapien back at the desk with us this morning. He's back and staying in Cincinnati. Can the same be said for other members of the Cincinnati area, including over at Great American Ballpark with the Cincinnati Reds? Elly De La Cruz, are we buying that he was on the chopping block as a trade candidate?
Look, MassLive.com had this. The Athletic confirmed it. Why wouldn't you call if your teams and ask the Reds, who are 5.5 back of the wild card, but a gazillion games back in the Central? Gazillion. It's pretty close to a gazillion. I'm just saying, it's not like they're thinking about the division. If you're the Red Sox, why wouldn't you inquire about Elly or the Yankees or the Dodgers or whoever else that could use a 24-year-old budding superstar? And even though they spelled De La Cruz a bit wrong there, the Red Sox offered that package, and it might not have been a realistic package, but guess what? This is the same team that traded for Cabrian Hayes. You never know what they're going to say, and that's what I think is interesting. Is I love deadlines. I love like the inner workings of organizations in general. And they should sign this guy or that guy, or this is how they should build their team. Or yeah, why wouldn't you be interested in adding that guy? You guys know that, especially Bengals-wise. I do. Baseball's no different, but it never hurts to call and ask if you're the Red Sox. So I'm not shocked at all that there's a team, and there probably will be more teams between now and the deadline that say, hey, you know what? Elly De La Cruz, hey, Nick, can I get Elly off your hands? I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. So I do buy that the Red Sox were interested. I also understand why the deal didn't get done.
I agree with everything you just said. I buy that the Red Sox called. I buy that the Red Sox are interested. I don't buy that the Reds listened or really talked. I think the way a lot of this reads as you go through it is the Red Sox offered a prospect-laden package, and the Reds, from any report we've seen so far, pushed back with MLB-ready talent. And if you look at this Red Sox lineup right now, there's a lot of exciting young players. They just had the influx of their top farm system with Roman Anthony, Marcelo Mayer, Cedric Rafaela, all these young guys, really exciting players on their big league team. I think it takes 2 or 3 of those, plus Franklin Arias, the #1 prospect in baseball from their minor league system, in order to get Elly. The initial offer from the Red Sox didn't even include their top prospect. It was a grouping of the rest of their top 10. So I think this was just kind of testing the waters. If you're the Red Sox, I think obviously with what the Reds have done at the deadline in the past and where they stand in the standings right now, it makes sense to check in. I also think a lot of the reports of Hunter Green's availability makes a lot of teams want to check in here. Those two are on a very similar timeline. So if you're open to trading an ace-level pitcher under the same amount of team control, why wouldn't you be interested in trading the star position player as well? So I think a lot of that led to more calls. I think there will be more calls before 6 o'clock tonight, but I do not think the Reds will actually listen. And if a trade makes any kind of progression here, it's going to be one of the biggest packages we've seen since Juan Soto.
Every team in baseball outside of maybe the Royals and the Orioles should be interested in Elly De La Cruz. Let's be real here. He's one of the best shortstops in all of baseball. So it doesn't surprise me that teams are going to be calling the Reds regardless of if he's available or not. I'm sure hoping that he's not and that he stays here in Cincinnati as part of that core to build around. But if he's a guy that the Reds decide to want to entertain and listen offers to Jacob's point, it better be a very large package coming back in return.
You're at the ballpark. More than both of you are at the ballpark way more than me. It goes without saying. The reception he gets, the attention he gets, everything. Describe it, because it's different. Like there's an Elly De La Cruz tax. So if I'm another team, I would be in, and I would try to get him today. That's how I think. You've heard my NBA thoughts and mindset, and I'm very much, hey, what's the big swing? Does this make sense for us? Let's do it. So if I'm another team that's trying to win, I would try to get Ellie today. I would also understand that there's probably going to be a Cincinnati tax because he is their star. He's the Reds star that comes with trading for him.
He's the Reds face of the team right now. And it's one of my favorite things to do is anytime we have any kind of game or activation where we're involving kids and especially a group of kids, one of my favorite questions to ask them all is like, hey guys, like, who's your favorite player? Like, who's your favorite Reds player? 9 times out of 10, they're saying Ellie De La Cruz. It's the Ellie factor. Even if they're not wearing an Ellie jersey, like some of the kids, you're starting to see more Chase Burns and Sal Stewart jerseys around, not to mention to go with some of the other players as well. But they almost always mention Ellie, and especially when I talk to a lot of little boys and who are saying that they're up, they love playing baseball. I'm like, oh, what position do you play? They're like, we play short because of Ellie. Like, he's making that big of an impact in this area.
Yeah, for sure, and I think the 44 jerseys still have maybe the highest percentage of the ballpark of any one player in as long as I can remember. Obviously, Votto had an awesome run there, but plenty of Brandon Phillips jerseys during that era as well. I don't think there's been this much of a sweeping love for one player like there is for Ellie right now. The thing I hear the most is like, oh, Ellie's up next. We got to wait to either go to the concessions or go to the bathroom until he hits, and then we can go. He's the guy that you pay the price of admission to come see. It's in the field. It's at the plate. It's all of it. And I don't think there's really anyone close to him right now on the team in terms of what he means to the fans. And I think the frustrating thing about conversations like this is I don't know what the path is for the Reds to get another Ellie De La Cruz. There's not a draft in the MLB like there is in other sports where if you're bad, you get the best player at the top. It's a huge gamble for college and high school-based prospects. If Ellie's on the way out of here, when's the next time there's an Ellie De La Cruz in a Reds uniform? It might be a long, long time, if ever. So I think that's why you see a lot of the fans really taking a moment to appreciate it right now, and not just this year, but really it seems like every time he's playing for this team and making highlight plays, this fan base does everything they can to, wherever it is in the game, winning or losing, to appreciate what he does out there, because you don't get it very often, and not many teams in the league get it at all. The Reds have him right now, and they shouldn't be looking to send him anywhere.
No, I don't think they are. If I'm a team, though, that's serious about it, I'd make a real offer. Would 2 times his value? What would it take for the Reds to do that? I'm not sure. But if I'm the Red Sox, would I be willing to give up the number 1 prospect in baseball for Ellie? If I can get Ellie, and I know that I can pay Ellie, for sure. And I don't know enough about that, to be honest. I'm not following the prospects like Jacob Tissot or Baseball America or any of these other different minor league sites. Doesn't matter. Ellie's better. Fair or foul?
Absolutely fair.
Correct. Ellie's better. And so if I'm the Red Sox and I wanted to be taken seriously, and I think this is the other element here, you got to be willing to part with more. And maybe they will between now and the deadline. I think that's the interesting thing, is the fact that there have been inquiries. How real is it? Or was it just, let me just fish around and just see how desperate the Reds are, knowing the answer you're probably going to get? We all have that guy in our fantasy league. I'm that guy half the time. Because I got to fish around. You never know. If I could get Jahmyr Gibbs for 50 cents on the dollar, I want to do it. That's all.
And that's fair. I think the position the Reds are in with Ellie right now, where it makes it a little harder for teams, even teams like the Red Sox that have great farm systems, is they're not going to be asking for prospects. With 3 years of team control, a team like the Red Sox are going to have to give up major league talent, and young, controlled major league talent. The one that's at the top of the list for me, if they're going to make a trade for the Red Sox, is Roman Anthony. He was on Team USA this year for the World Baseball Classic. He's one of the best young outfielders in the league. If they're going to get Ellie De La Cruz, that's where it starts for me. And you're talking about that plus significant prospects as well. That's why I think with this much contract left, it's going to be really hard for a team to pull that trigger.
Yeah. And the thing is Reds fans are looking at that saying he had 229.
He hasn't played in like 2 months.
321 slugging. Yeah, he's played in 30 games this year. Like an unknown.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. Odds are Ellie stays, I think. But he's the subject of our poll question. We'll get to that next right here on First Word.
The city lives and breathes sports, and now it finally has a morning show to match. I'm James Rapien, and this is First Word, the only morning sports show in Cincinnati and the place where every day starts. First Word, weekdays 7 to 11, part of the Crown Network.
Our beliefs matter. They're reflected in our words and actions. At First State Bank, we believe in treating people well, and have since 1884. Listening, caring, looking out for each other. It's what people deserve. It's what a real local bank does. While lots of things have changed over the years, our belief in you hasn't. First State Bank, built on belief.
I was out of town, and I mentioned the name earlier, Jim Breach. We play a lot of golf together. We text each other a lot, and he texts me, he goes, "What about the trade?" And I'm like, "What trade?" He goes, "Dexter Lawrence." I said, "Oh my goodness." And he goes, "I think the Bengals really want to win now." And we're just messing around saying that. But yeah, I mean, to me, I tell people I was so excited before the draft. I mean, not only with that trade and the signing of, I mean, you know, he might be 30-31, Jonathan Allen, but he still has a lot of gas in the tank, and he's proven over the years. Mafe, another young guy, and then you get Cook, as you mentioned, and then you get a couple other safeties that have some great experience. I'm thinking, and I've said, in my humble opinion, this year, if Joe stays healthy, the offensive line comes together, all we need is a middle-of-the-road defense, and we're back at so high. I think we went from middle of the road to like top 10 defense with those. You know, again, we got to play as a team now and come together. But I think what they did in free agency, in that trade, and in the draft, I'm excited.
I know we're with you on that front. The expectations for this defense are huge. Obviously, you played tackle, but faced plenty of great defensive linemen in your era. What's the difference between having an elite pass rusher on the inside versus on the edge that makes Dexter Lawrence such an anomaly?
Well, I mean, you don't have to go as far to get the quarterback. I mean, you get that push, and you're right there. I mean, if they're coming around the end, the quarterback can maneuver. I mean, you got 6'7", 385 pounds. I mean, it's blocking off half the field that you can see. So, no, it's huge. It's huge. And not to mention that he's going to occupy two guys. You know, so what happens is all of a sudden you have two guys with him, and, you know, if you're defensive ends, then you're singled up, and you say, okay, guys, now you're singled up. Now you have to have an impact, and you got to do, because you got Dexter Lawrence taking two guys, and it gives you an opportunity to go one-on-one, and you got to beat those guys. So I tell you what, that you look at the depth chart, and you got three new guys, you know, inserted in that defensive line, and not just three guys, but three pretty good guys.
On the radio here in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati has always felt like home.
Right here on the Crown Network.
Out and about in Cincinnati, bringing you these stories that you need to hear in the Queen City.
Should the Reds seriously consider trading Ellie De La Cruz? Welcome back to First Word. I'm James Rapien alongside Marisa Contipelli and Jacob Tissot. And that's the subject of today's poll question. It's very, very simple. Should the Reds seriously listen to trade offers for Ellie? And I'm surprised by these results. I got to be honest with you, because a lot of people at least willing to listen, at least open to trading 44, and 38.3% of you, though, are in the Marisa and Jacob, no way, shut it down. 36.4% say, it can't hurt to listen. 22.7% say yes, listen and consider it. And 2.7% say listen and shop him around. The people back there want to trade him.
We got a problem.
Yeah, control room, what are we doing? What is going on?
Casey's trying to shop Ellie.
First, he comes over here, and the Reds can't pick up a win since he joins the First Word crew, and now he wants to ship Ellie out of town? He's shopping? What's going on?
Casey, are you going with Ellie?
There we go.
Well, that would tank his value.
Ex-professional producer.
Yeah. Ex-pro. Casey McAllister.
Yeah, he is if Ellie's out of town. Like, I was surprised at the 36.4% that said it can't hurt to listen, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're open to a Godfather offer for Elly De La Cruz. If it's, 8 of the top 10 prospects, 2 major league level players, that's something I think you always are open to considering when you're so far away from competition where the Reds are right now. But there's no way the Reds should be on the offensive in any way in terms of trading Elly De La Cruz.
Absolutely not. They should not be making calls. They can receive calls. That's fine if you want to listen to it. I guess I could have voted for that line, but no, Elly needs to stay in Cincinnati. If you're serious about building this future with this core, he needs to be a part of it.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like Joe Burrow, I would never listen to a trade call for. I would just never listen. Jamar, same thing, just not listening. After that, I listen. Like T, I'm listening. It doesn't mean. Where's Elly in that for you guys?
Baseball. There's not anyone
Jamar,
in baseball I'm not going to listen to.
You always listen.
I would even at this point listen to Chase Burns. I'm not going to move Chase Burns, but if a team's going to give,
that's crazy.
If the Dodgers are going to give you Shohei, Skubal, and 2 top prospects, I'll trade them. So I'll listen to anything. But I think Elly's almost there at this point with 3 years of team control, where you're going to need multiple plug and play at positions of need, major league talent players, plus a significant prospect haul. I just don't think any team's going to do that, but no fault of the Reds if they're going to listen.
Also, I'm going to listen about Joe and Jamar, but that's a conversation for another time. I will listen.
Oh, my God.
Not saying I'm going to do it, but I'm going to listen.
Oh, my God. What is that? I wasn't ready for that. Listen. She's going to listen. Oh, my goodness. Well, Marisa, listen. Bengals training camp is in full. I'm shocked.
I am too.
Bengals training camp is in full swing. Week 1 is in the books. The pads go on today. My training camp takeaways are next, right here on First Word.
Challenges has just taken MLB by storm this year, and Bleacher Report put out a pretty neat video of the umpire vantage point on these challenges, and we're going to see if Jacob and Paul can go 3 for 3 on these ABS challenges. So we're going to take it full screen, and we're going to get things going here in 3, 2, 1. Pay attention. What do we call him?
Strike.
I'm going ball.
I'm going strike.
That looked down.
Oh, give it to me. That was a strike. Oh, wait. They're challenging it. I see.
And it's a ball.
Oh, low.
Call me Sal Stewart out here.
Oh.
Jacob 1-0.
What an eye.
Get ready for play number 2 here.
Man, these are harder than I thought they were.
You're right?
Wasn't even that close.
What do we think?
Oh, that's a strike.
All right, I'm going to go ball again.
Over the outer, barely got the outside corner.
I think it was a strike too, but I'm going to guess ball.
Oh my God!
That's about as close as it gets.
Come on!
Oh, so this last one has to be a strike.
All right, this is important because this is taking it up a notch for how much I believe in these guys at the
So
plate.
Jacob's 2-0 right now.
Yeah, this is going to be a strike.
Has to be.
They're
You
not
can't do
going to give
3
me
pitchers
3
and do
balls.
3
What
balls.
are we calling?
This is a strike.
It has to be.
It has
Let's find
to be a
out. Is
strike.
Jacob going to be a perfect 3 for 3?
There it
He
is.
is.
Wow, good for you.
Flawless execution. Honestly, not surprised.
There we go.
Not
That
surprised
is
Jacob did that well.
Significantly harder than I thought it would be.
My name is Jack Crumley. I've been covering news in Cincinnati on the radio for the last 20 years. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, but Cincinnati has always felt like home since day one. I've seen so many things accomplished here, and now, with the Working Lunch, I get to write, read, and talk about them every day. Hard-working people with a drive and a dream. innovative ideas that help shape this city. Cincinnati is a great city, and I'm excited to tell you about it every day.
This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Good morning and welcome back to First Word on a Monday morning in the Queen City alongside Jacob Tissot and James Rapien. I'm Marisa Contipelli, and yeah, we're moving and grooving because James is back at the desk.
Come on, Jacob.
A little happy dance.
Please.
I don't know what
There we go.
I don't know what we're doing here, but you know.
I just want to see what I can get Jacob to do. Because he's very uncomfortable dancing. I don't
That
like dancing.
list is like
This?
insanely long.
You got to add to it every time. No, it's not just thumbs up. You're a big thumbs up.
This is great for the podcast
He is a big
listeners.
thumbs up guy.
Oh, it is. PDF loves this.
Yes.
Paul
Yes.
Fritzner, by the way. That's his nickname.
Yeah, shout out Paulie for coming on the show.
He killed it.
And he'll
Fill
never
the
be
James
back.
void on Countdown.
And now that you're back, he's done.
Is he?
Done.
Paul Buddy Fritzner.
That's right.
It's his new nickname.
What's wrong, buddy? Oh, my gosh. I can't believe you did that to him. Just rough.
It was great. It was great. It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. That was fun. You know what also was fun? Seeing the Bengals back at training camp.
Yes.
And we get pads today. And I know you had a lot of other things going on, but you were dialed in, locked into all of the updates that were coming through X and social media. And I know you didn't miss a beat of anything happening over there at Paycor Stadium.
No, not at all. It's time for some top training camp takeaways from week one. Plenty to dive into from a Bengals standpoint. And look, it's very, very simple. The first thing that you wanted to see, it wasn't Joe Burrow. We know he can throw the football. We know Jamar Chase can run routes and get open. It's Dexter Lawrence. Is Dexter Lawrence going to make an impact? What kind of impact is he going to make? I covered many, many training camps with Geno Atkins and what Geno Atkins would do. And there were many, many times where after practice I would say, man, Geno Atkins was getting after Andy Dalton and making Andy Dalton throw the ball away and doing all of these things to Andy Dalton. Is that Geno Atkins or is that his bad offensive line? The answer was both at the time. But here, I think that this is a huge shift from what we've seen from the interior of the Bengals offensive and defensive lines over the past couple of years. One, the Bengals O-line. They're bringing back every single starter. Ted Karras, proven. Dylan Fairchild, really good as a rookie, going to take a step forward you would expect. Dalton Reisner, the best guard addition they've had in the free agent market, certainly since Alex Kappa and maybe even beyond that. The point being, the interior set. So when Dexter Lawrence is giving everybody else hell and giving those three guys all they can handle, well, you take note of that, given what the Bengals gave up to get him, given that they added a year onto his contract, which looks mighty, mighty good right now, by the way, with the way the defensive tackle market is rolling. And it's not just the defensive tackle market. It's not just his impact. It's what Joe Burrow said after just one practice of going against Dexter Lawrence that stuck out to me.
Yeah, he got back there pretty quick a couple times. We're going to have to get that thing out. Make some blind throws today just because of how big he is. And, he pushes that pocket, gets close to you, and you have to be able to throw around him, throw without seeing. And it gets ready for the games, but that's a challenge. So that's going to be a big part of our team this year. I'm excited to watch it.
Good stuff there from Joe on what Dexter can do. And that's it, is you want to, whether it's Baker Mayfield, make sure that pocket is collapsing around him, whether it's week 2 against C.J. Stroud, it doesn't matter. Whatever quarterback you're going against, you need Dexter Lawrence to make that impact, to command double teams, to command that attention. So far, so good. He checked that box. But don't take my word for it or Joe's word for it. Also, Ted Karras, who faces him every day, well, it's a lot to deal with.
Today felt like, going against like the 2016 New England defense. I just think we have a lot of great players. I think 97. I mean, he gets like one a day on me, which I got to eliminate. If you saw that last period, I'm just fighting to the end there. And it's just me and him in the middle. So you better bring your freaking going against Dexter Lawrence.
I'm a big fan of the double cuss word. I'm just going to throw that out. You got to bring your bleep and bleep. Yeah, and so, yes, in on that. I love that. Get the signs ready for Paycor. When you have to deal with Dexter, you got to bring your bleeping bleep. I'm in. I love that Ted Karras put it that way. And I wasn't ready for it. When you watch that full thing, and I know Trags had it, Gabby Sorrento had it, a bunch of people, Sorrentino had it, excuse me. When you watch that whole thing, though, it's like out of nowhere. It's like, oh, Ted's making it very, very clear how hard it is to deal with Dexter.
Yeah, usually Ted is very polished and buttoned up in those interviews, especially when it's just after a practice. Post-game, following a loss, I've seen him get a little bit on the fiery side, but usually he knows he's speaking with the media and on record. You can't be cussing and swearing out there. So the fact that he is coming out and saying that says a lot, and I absolutely love to see it.
It seems like a level of surprise, and I don't think anyone's surprised that Dexter Lawrence is a huge difference maker on the defense, but just maybe how soon it's happening and how quickly you can feel that all throughout the locker room. I think my most favorite thing from last week's training camp was before the first practice of the week when Dexter walked by Joe Burrow and started talking trash before practice even started. It's an element that's been missing from this Bengals locker room over the last 3 years. And to add that level of player, just saw him dominate a pass rush rep right there in practice. He's great, but to add that level of leader as well on the defensive side of the football is just a huge thing.
The other thing I love too is when we had Joe Danneman on Friday, him talking about just things he's noticed from Dexter Lawrence and how he's gone to different position groups and is making his impact felt, but also just taking a natural leadership role just beyond the defense, I thought was huge.
Yeah, I think he's aware of the gravity of that trade, like how big of a trade it was. This wasn't the Jets making another trade because they make a big trade every couple of years. The Bengals never do this. And they did it because they believe in him. And he's like, all right, I have a responsibility to lead and to matter and to make the impact that he's made to this point. We'll see if it continues today with the pads on. Obviously, we'll have you covered all week long when it comes to Bengals training camp. But another thing that I love last week, oh, you guys know I love this. You know I love. Look, anytime Jamar Chase is going to get into a back and forth, I'm in. As long as he doesn't spit on some washed up safety named Jalen Ramsey who shouldn't have been in the NFL top 100. I haven't let that go. But I see this last week, I'm in. The fact that he throws the helmet, even more in. And I know there are some that won't like it. Here's what else I'm in on. Jalen Davis saying, are you serious, Mr. $160 man? Are you serious? Let's go. I'm about that life. I'm about that life, Jamar. Let's go. I love it. I love every bit of this. This is going to make them better. They need it. Day one, the fact that there was this kind of competition and you had a guy like DJ Turner who's battling for his contract. He's where Jamar was 2 years ago, giving Jamar fits. And then a guy like Jalen Davis taking Mike Gesicki to the ground. Mike says, hey, man, don't jump on my back. We're not doing that. Doesn't matter. Jalen, get after him. I like it. Everybody's okay. This is part of football. We're going to see some of this today. Forewarning, we're going to see some of this today with the pads. Come on. I like the competition. It is fine. As long as Jamar doesn't hit anybody with said helmet, totally fine with it because he launched that thing. I was a fan.
So were we. I think it's glad to hear that you're on this side. Not a surprise at all, but I was shocked by the number of people that didn't like it and were really aggressive about how bad that was early in camp. We heard from Jamar Chase last week. We heard from DJ Turner, Jalen Davis as well, setting the tone early in camp for a team that has to take a massive step this year. That's what I want from Jamar Chase. He's not just here to be the 100 yards a game, touchdown a game guy. He's here to be a leader on the offense as well. And by doing that early in camp, that's something I really like to see from a guy that does that during the season. When it's wins and losses, he's a guy who always shows emotion and is always right there. Usually talking to the guys on the other side. Love to see that early in camp. Get this defense ready to go up against each other. It's only going to help these defenders to have to guard the best receiver in the world. It's the same thing as the offensive line going up against Dexter Lawrence. These DBs are just going to get better facing Jamar Chase. And I love what I saw from Jalen Davis. This is a guy who has to earn a job. And I know he's your guy. I'm sure you were excited about that as well.
I was just about to say, I know I've talked a lot about Jalen Davis over the last last month or so. Just really excited and eager to see, hopefully, him grasp that nickel spot and solidify himself as a starter and be a difference maker in this cornerback's room. And when that video first came through and you had said to me here, like, hey, Jalen Davis just jumped on Mike Gesicki's back, I thought it was going to be 10 times worse than what it actually was. I watched it, I'm like, that's fine. Like, I get it. It's the first day. You probably shouldn't be doing that. But you love to see the competitive side of these guys fighting for starting positions. And I want to see them continue to elevate that level of play. Like you said, like, this is only going to make them better.
You've seen Jalen Davis in person, and you've seen Mike Gesicki in person.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he should do. All right? He's not trying to bring him down, but at the same time, yeah, that's probably what he's going to have to do to bring Mike Gesicki down. It was fine. That's like a little brother jumping on a big brother. No one's getting hurt there. Exactly. It's not like he was going after his ankle or his knee. Like, that's far different. So I love the competition element of it. Here's what I will say, and I said this last year. The one thing with Jamar, do not let scrubs get in your head. And I'm going to say it one more time. And people are saying, well, Jalen Davis, no, it's practice. You need to make each other better, all of that. But there's no world where prime Jamar should even hear what Jalen Ramsey says, or even hear what he says. Jalen Ramsey stinks. He is awful. And I had this take, and then I talked to someone in the building, someone prominent in the building, and they were like, yeah, that guy's awful. And they agreed with everything. So don't sweat the little guys. And I mean that by their game being little. But, yeah, make your teammates better, Jamar. Love the competition element of it as well. I love that, well, the defense getting the better of Joe Burrow over the weekend. And this wasn't just Dexter Lawrence. No. Jalen Davis. It's a theme. Marisa's Jalen Davis stock going up, up, up. Joe Burrow picked off. Look at this here. Batted or tipped by Boye Mafe. Davis with the diving interception. Locking up Drew Sample, who was out there in the flat, and making the really, really nice grab. There's multiple angles of this on the internet. But man, oh man, love seeing that they're getting after Joe Burrow, intercepting him multiple times throughout camp. That's a good thing. That is not a bad thing. I know some have said, oh man, Joe Burrow's throwing picks. It's a good thing, especially early.
Yeah, you need to see the defense take those strides, and shout out for that video coming from Dan Horde. And this is what I want to see early on in camp. There were so many acquisitions on the defensive side, so many improvements. We've talked all offseason long about it. Finally seeing those things kind of start to come out to play. And we talked about Dexter Lawrence, but it just goes far beyond that. We talked last week. We saw Barrett Carter and Demetrius Knight making plays. Like, we need to start seeing some of these improvements on the defensive side paying off.
Yeah, for sure. And just, it is worth noting, defense should win early in camp.
Yes.
They should win today as well. We'll see if they do, but it is a good sign. If they're going to be a good defense, they certainly shouldn't get their doors blown off early in camp. No. And so that hasn't happened. That's good to see Jalen Davis discuss the interception on Saturday afterward.
It's always a great feeling when you get an interception. We just going out there with a fire, with a mentality that we're not trying to get beat. We're going against the best offense in the league, so it's a battle. We all battling, trying to get each other better. So I've been in the position battle my whole damn life. You know what I'm saying? So I take every single day, every single year, the exact same. Just trying to put my best foot forward, show my team, show my coaches what I can do. That's it.
I like the chip he has on his shoulder. After kind of emerging last year, he's come into this camp and he's made it very, very clear from day one, this is who I'm going to be.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of questions for a lot of people going into camp as how that slot corner could shake out. And at least through 1 week, doesn't seem like many questions. He's been out there and been playing really, really well. Obviously, the interception there is huge, but he's been having just a great camp so far. Obviously, the scuffle and everything, a headline from day one, but he's been involved in really every play in camp that he's been on the field for. So great to see from him. But in that play as well, Boye Mafe with the tip on the interception, a guy who we've seen in coverage early in camp, maybe a lot more than Bengals fans expected. He's looked really good out there for this Bengals team, and he's one that seems to be forgotten a lot more when talked about these offseason additions. The focus, obviously, as it should be, on Dexter Lawrence and then Brian Cook, the second name. But Boye Mafe, a $20 million a year edge rusher, is going to have a huge role on this defense. I think he's just going to be an awesome player this year.
Outside corner Boye Mafe?
Probably not.
Starting nickel?
True outside linebacker, though, it seems.
Nickel, that would be.
I saw some social media reaction to him, like in coverage, and people were so mad.
Yeah.
And so I had some fun with it. Daxu, Boye Mafe's got it covered. One more here. One more training camp takeaway. Jamar Chase, still a freak. Check out this release against DJ Turner in red zone drills. This was following Joe Burrow's interception. And look at this man. Just slowly but surely gets open. And it's just, boop. That's it. That's all it takes. Gets open. A no-brainer for Joe Burrow. If you watch the offensive and defensive lines, it was a run-pass option. He saw Jamar one-on-one. I'm going to hit him with the hezzy, and I'm going to get open at the line. Easy, easy touchdown for Uno.
I saw people dunking on DJ Turner here for getting beat by Jamar Chase. Guys, I think a lot of corners get beat by Jamar Chase. This is going to happen every now and then, and I don't think there's a better matchup for DJ Turner than to go against Jamar Chase every day in these periods.
It should. I want to see both sides, and so far we have. Yeah, I think I've seen DJ Turner with multiple pass breakups, multiple plays. Jamar's getting his as well because he's Jamar Chase, and that's what should happen. We have more Bengals coming your way because the pads are on today, plus you guys both gave your top 10. I'm going to give my top 10 coming up in just a bit. But up next, everything you missed while you slept right here on First Word.
I'm keeping my eye on is actually the oldest in the secondary room. We've talked so much about DJ Turner and Dax Hill having locked down those, outside corner positions. But what about slot corner? Who's really going to take hold in that nickel? I'm looking at Jalen Davis. He's been around for a long time, came into the league in 2018, has been with the Bengals since 2020, and has spent time between the 53-man roster and the practice squad. But last season, towards the back half of the year, Jalen Davis called up from the practice squad and really, fit in nicely into that cornerback's room. And we saw him out on the field, recorded his first career interception in Miami. And I was on the field for that play, and it's just the amount of respect and love he got from his teammates after that moment. Everyone knew just how massive of a moment that was for him to get his first career interception after spending 8 seasons in the league. He means so much to this team. He's a leader, but a quiet leader. He's not overly vocal. He leads by example a lot of the time. And you just look at some of his numbers last season, allowed a 74 passer rating when targeted, only allowed 13 receptions in coverage. Again, only played, in the back half of the season, weeks 12 through 18, but had 16 solo tackles in run support and can be a guy that I'm really looking to see. Can he solidify that starting nickel spot and really complement what DJ Turner and Dax Hill are doing?
You should be thinking about what you should be thinking about. I don't know. What I'm thinking about is slot corner. That to me is the big question. Is it Jalen Davis? Is it Takario Davis? I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go, and I do think it's important. Maybe it's Kyle Duggar.
Taylor.
Jasir Taylor, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of different ways it could go, and that's kind of one of the reasons it's the number one thing for me, because I just don't know where they're going to go with this. I don't think they're in a bad spot because they don't have an answer there. I just think it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out.
Now, Dax Hill said he wants to stay outside, but we've seen him have success in the slot before. Is there any chance that we see him in the slot this season?
Yeah, there is. I think that's really interesting because he has done everything the Bengals have asked. They move him around. He doesn't say a word. He's going into a contract year, and outside corners get paid a lot more than slot corners. So that'll be interesting to see too if that's something that he balks at. If we see a little pushback from him when it comes to that, I don't think that'll be the case. And who knows? Maybe they surprise us and they sign him to a long-term deal before they even get to the season. But I think things would have to go bad with those others for them to kind of push Dax back inside.
On the radio here in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati has always felt like home.
Right here on the Crown Network.
Out and about in Cincinnati, bringing you these stories that you need to hear in the Queen City.
Welcome back to First Word. I'm James Rapien, back in the saddle here alongside Marisa Contipelli and Jacob Tissot. Jacob, you sure you didn't want to bring us back?
Yeah, I'm good. We tried that once. Didn't go well.
Oh, I didn't realize that because I wasn't here. I showed up for work for the first time in a couple weeks. There we go. Everything I thought about, I was like, you know what we should do is everything I missed.
We don't have time for that.
Correct. It would have taken up way too much time.
We're only on air for 4 hours.
It would have been entertaining for us, not the people. No. What the people want is everything they missed while they slept. And it starts with Chase Burnsing. That man just balling out. See, Burnsing doesn't sound necessarily positive, but it is because he's been awesome. They continue to win. 16-5 in Chase Burns starts?
Sure.
16-5, elite. So they just need 4 more Chase Burnses, and they're an elite team. That's all. That's all they need between now and the trade deadline at 6 o'clock. But regardless, Chase Burns is awesome. The Reds handled business, and despite the weird conditions that he had to pitch through yesterday, still pitched through them and played well.
Yeah, I think most teams would kill for one Chase Burns. So I'll take the one we got, and really, really happy every time he's on the mound. I think at this point, when you see games like yesterday, and honestly like we've seen for the last 12 or so starts, it's how many more of these do we have left? Because they're so much fun to watch, and yesterday I think was a great sign that he's building beyond what we've seen so far. So much of the conversation over the last few starts has been 5-inning starts and heavy pitch counts. Well, you have a 25-minute, I guess it wasn't a delay. What do you call it when they fix the field and don't play baseball? Usually you call that a delay, but 25 minutes in between pitches. He comes back in, gives you 2 more innings going through 6, and just really, really great to see from Burns yesterday. It was really hard to pitch through the rain, was hitless until it started to sprinkle, and then obviously allowed the 1 run, but just another phenomenal start. 13-1 now on the year, the only rookie with an ERA, or first-year starter with an ERA below 3, and he's at a 2.35. So unbelievable for Burns so far this year, and he just keeps getting better.
First Red since 1956 to win 12 straight decisions. And you mentioned only gave up 2 hits. First time since May 14th, 2 or fewer hits allowed in a game. Just phenomenal.
Yeah, still pitching well. See, I know wins are wins and that's it. 20 wins would be really cool.
It'd be awesome.
You're at 13. It's so close. That's how I felt a couple years ago about Jamar getting to 20 touchdowns. I was like, get there. Just get there. And he dropped 2 in the final 2 weeks. Never going to forgive you, Jamar. But Chase, it's like, and he's not going to get the chance. I'd be surprised if he did. But man, so close.
It's all those milestones that make it so tough to swallow a potential pitch inning limit or pitch count, because if you have a top 5 Cy Young finish in your first full season, if you have 20 wins in your first full season, those are points on your resume that stay forever. And now you're taking away a solid chance at that for Burns this season with those kinds of limits. So that's a tough pill to swallow, I'm sure, for a young pitcher. But when you're locked up for 7 years, I think it makes it a little bit easier.
Yep. Locked up. Playing well. Here's what Chase Burns had to say after his stellar performance against the Pirates.
Was it the pitch?
Yeah, it sucked. Of course, raining constantly and not knowing if we're going to put the tarp on or not. But I knew both teams want to get that game in, so it's kind of just a grind, but got through it.
You got through 5. Is there even thought you might have maybe we have a big lead? They might lift me here. Did you lobby to go back out? Was there anything going on?
Yeah, they just asked me, hey, how you feeling? You want to go back out? And I was like, yeah, let's go.
It seemed like Terry even said it, that when you came back out after the hiatus, that you kind of took it up another notch. Is that how you felt? Like you felt maybe a little charged up to get back out?
Yeah, I definitely didn't feel good just sitting in the dugout, but kind of just mentally locked back in, and I was pumped up to go out there, and I was just pissed off kind of, so it kind of helped me get through it.
You throws a couple headers with fastballs for strikeouts today. Kind of were you expecting that to be a big part of the success?
Yeah, I think a lot of guys have been trying to see the ball up on my fastball, and so we kind of talked about that today, and just trying to get the ball down a little bit. It makes the slider better. It makes them think about it a little bit more.
How many times have you pitched in conditions like that?
Not many. This is probably the first time. I think usually they stop the game, but like I said, I know both teams wanted to get that in, so made it happen.
All the great numbers you have so far this year, team 16-5 in your 21 starts. Is that the most important numbers?
Yeah, I think every time you take the ball, your job is to put up as many zeros as possible, and try to get the team the best position to win. So I take pride in that, and in the limiting runs, and trying to win more
Fourth
games.
series win post All-Star break for this Reds team, and I know you can keep. Hopefully, we're going to keep counting on that.
We'll see.
But
All eyes on
another,
me now.
Another NL Central series win, though. That's the big one for me.
Yeah, you got to start beating these teams. You're going to have to play them next year, and you're going to have to play them the year after that. So get this core to learn how to beat these divisional teams. That matters.
Or get back in it this year, Jacob, and buy at the deadline. I didn't say they should.
Only 5.5 out of the wild card.
I'm just
What are
saying.
you doing?
What do you mean? Just throwing out ideas. I'm the ideas guy. Buy?
Those are the ideas. Get back off the gas.
If they keep winning. See, that's the thing. If you send me off the desk, they'll probably keep winning.
I know.
You leave me on the desk, history says they're going to keep losing.
All I'm going to say is this A series is gonna show a lot.
Yeah, they're off.
We'll find out Tuesday.
So that's the interesting part of this is we're not going to start to find out until tomorrow.
Have you
So
thought
it'll be a
about
couple
the
days.
fact that if you would have taken off like 2 weeks earlier, then
Would've
they
saved
might
the
have
season?
started and they would have actually been good by the deadline?
I haven't until now. It's really, really unfortunate. It's tough because today's such a big, big day. Am I going to be bad luck for the trade deadline for the Reds? That's the other. You just made a face. What if I am? What if I come back and they make another Brian Hayes trade, where it's just dead weight? One guy that they could trade is Tyler Stevenson. Contract year for Ty Steve. Hit a home run in his potential final at bat with the Reds. Was certainly emotional. This courtesy of Joe Danneman of Fox 19. Emotional afterward with Jim Day, and then he talked about the possibility of being traded in the clubhouse afterward.
What do you anticipate the next 24 hours will be like for you personally?
I don't know yet. I'm just gonna enjoy it. See what happens.
What are you doing tomorrow? You
I don't know yet. I don't know.
got breakfast plans or anything?
My wife and I did talk. Just kind of go around maybe to some different places throughout the city that we enjoy, just in case. I don't know yet. We'll see.
Are you the guy that just doesn't want to pay attention, try to get away from it, or are you curious to keep an eye on it?
Just ready for it to be over with, honestly. So, yeah.
Now, no one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. And your first at-bat in a Reds uniform was a home run. Not knowing what tomorrow reads, that could be poetic what just happened. Were there any thoughts when you were around in the bases?
Oh, man, I'm going to be emotional. It was pretty special. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot going on. Yeah.
I know there is. And I'm not looking for you to comment on this.
Yeah.
But let the record show. You're a good man. You're a pro's pro. You're a pleasure to be around every day.
Thank you.
That is Tyler Stevenson. Let's go back to the set.
I think that's a good reminder that there's a human element to this, and the trade deadline means moving, and moving stinks. Just like Chase Burns said, playing in the rain sucks, in the conditions suck. Guess what? Moving sucks. And if you have to move cities in the middle of a season, even though you're a pro and all those things, it's a lot. So I get it. Tyler Stevenson's been here for a long time. It would be very emotional if he gets traded.
Longest tenured Red currently, and I don't think there's many more likable guys in my lifetime that have put on that uniform. I mean, he's been a joy to watch behind the plate, and I think when you see stuff like that, it's a little head-scratching that it's been so hard for this organization and him to find terms on a contract extension. Seems like it always made sense timeline-wise that he would stick around at least for a few more years, and that's never come to fruition. So now here we are, trade deadline day on an expiring contract year, and it seems like he's on the way out, which I don't think is how anyone thought this was going to go, say, a few years ago when he was a part of this core, still is a part of this core. One of the few bats you can rely on a day-in, day-out basis, and has improved his play behind the plate to a level that I don't think many of us expected he could get to at really any point in his career. It's been awesome to watch Tyler Stevenson wear a Reds uniform, and I hope today isn't the last day, but it seems like it's headed that direction.
Yeah, he's meant so much to this team, and it's really hard to watch interviews like that and seeing guys like Tyler Stevenson get emotional, in that post-game setting. But the way he was kind of getting emotional kind of makes me think he believes that was probably his last game in a Reds uniform.
Yeah. No, I think the writing is certainly on the wall that it happens. whether or not it does. The Reds can't just give away everybody. That's something that well, just contract year, you got to give them away. It's like, okay, it's still a negotiation, and you can't just here, have them. That's it. That's fine. We'll take whatever you want. Maybe you don't want what they're offering. And so there's that part of it between now and the trade deadline. More on the Reds and the trade deadline coming up. But Ted Karras probably had the quote of the weekend on Saturday when he described what it was like having to deal with this Bengals defensive front, specifically Dexter Lawrence.
Today felt like, going against like the 2016 New England defense. I just think we have a lot of great players. I think 97. I mean, he gets like one a day on me, which I got to eliminate. If you saw that last period, I'm just fighting to the end there. And it's just me and him in the middle. So you better bring your freaking going against Dexter Lawrence.
You got to be on your bleeping bleep when you go up against Dexter Lawrence. That's the quote of camp so far.
Absolutely, and I hope that they're all on their bleep and bleep by week one, and I think Dexter Lawrence is going to help everyone. We've talked about the impact on the defense, but also on the offensive line and everyone on that side of the ball as well through training camp, get the best out of everybody. Just great to see that they're feeling that impact on the field right now already.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, you knew he was going to come in and impact not only the defensive line, but the linebackers, secondary in some way. Love, love, love to see the impact that is being felt among these offensive linemen.
Yeah, it's huge for the defensive front. Two, Ted Karras has a lot to prove too. And he's been really good, like under the radar, good, because he doesn't get the love that Amarius Mims and the breakout potential and all those things. He's been really good, and he's in a contract year. And so if you're Ted, looking to prove yourself a little bit, I think he summed up dealing with Dexter Lawrence really, really nicely there, which we'll only have to do for a few more weeks. And then guess what? Opponents will have to deal with him. The Bengals putting the pads on today. We'll dive into that coming up. But FC Cincinnati, little rally. I'm not going to lie. I looked on Saturday, and it was 2-1, and I'm like, oh, man, doesn't feel great. FC Cincinnati and Evander, doubt them at your own risk here because they rallied. Evander handled business, and so did FC Cincinnati 4-2 over San Diego.
It was an exciting one.
Or San Jose, excuse me.
Yeah, exciting one to watch. The FC Cincinnati's third consecutive win at TQL Stadium, obviously it being massive coming off of the result up in Columbus that they fell during the Hell is Real match. But Evander is just such a special player, and he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, he is. Pat Noonan summed up the match and the rally and Evander afterward.
Yeah, you always learn about a group when you have letdowns like we had in Columbus, and we addressed it early, and we tried to spend the rest of the week with the right training focus and moving past it to be ready for tonight. And it felt that way during the week, and it looked that way with our performance. So, I'm happy for the group that now the feeling's better and the performance was better. A lot of the things that didn't, I don't want to say go our way, that we didn't do well previously, we made all the right decisions tonight as far as how to get the ball up the field, how to attack, how to get guys in good spots, how to be in more control of what the game looked like. And they were still very dangerous in transition and caused us problems. But I think those moments were far fewer because of the way we moved the ball. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. It's tough to win, and you can always take things from games to say, this is what we're capable of. This is how we can be punished. And the game is always going to present those things. But we have gotten 2 results. I wouldn't say our play against Vancouver was as strong as it was tonight, but the result makes it feel better. That's reality. Like I said, if tonight the result doesn't go in our favor, I'm sitting there for a long stretch of that game pleased with our play, and the result can alter how you feel or how you assess it. But I thought we performed very well and kept pushing in a good way, and subs came on and did an excellent job. They were ready, so that was encouraging as well to have guys pushing like those guys are. And we know we can beat top teams, but we know we can lose to anybody. That's what we've shown. and we're trying to be more consistent.
I know we talk about Evander a lot, but tonight's performance, where does that kind of rank for you? He crossed 100 goal contributions in his 104th match. What does that say about him?
He was spectacular tonight. Our conversation post Columbus when he returned from the All-Star festivities was about forcing plays and him feeling this pressure to always provide production and plays for our group. And sometimes when you push and trying to do too much, it's counterproductive. Tonight he just made all the right decisions, and the pass to Brian in how how deceptive he is in that moment to free up Brian, and the pass to Tom. He could still make a bunch of plays even when he doesn't try to do the spectacular, and a goal and 3 assists in the fashion in which he does it. I'll continue to say it's our job and his teammates' job to find him in the right spots. It's his job to understand our approach to the game plan and being able to be disciplined with that. And if it's not working, we adjust to try to free him up in ways to impact the game. But it was a really good response from him. That was as strong as he's performed and off of the week we had.
Evander's strike in that 82nd minute put FC Cincinnati ahead. Now, that was the 6th time this season he scored from outside the box, leading MLS. Evander, with a goal and 3 assists on the night, now has 22 goal contributions, leading MLS as well. And guys, also put him over the 103 career goal contributions list now with 104 in 104 games, becoming the fifth fastest player, to reach the 100 mark.
Yeah, 8 straight games with a goal contribution. That's what you need from your best player. So if FCC wants to get back to the top of the table, get any more of that from Evander.
Love it. Love seeing him ball out. They've been must watch. And, 4-2. Handling business. FC Cincinnati rolling on. We are rolling on here on a Monday. Up next, it's trade deadline day. We will discuss it right here on First Word.
The Crown has you covered. Start your day with the First Word, Cincinnati's only morning sports show. Power through midday with the Working Lunch, Cincinnati business talk that keeps you in the know. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city, and the Rebound Rundown covers every corner of the college basketball scene in the tri-state and beyond. This is The Crown. Built for Cincinnati. First Word for your morning sports, the Working Lunch for business that hits home. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city, and Rebound Rundown for college hoops. This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Okay, who are you? Well, you have a First State Bank checking account, so you'll be getting cash back whenever you use it. Oh.
Open a checking account at First State Bank for cash back. First State Bank, built on belief.
How did you get in here?
USA Today posted 12 players who possibly are on the bubble right now for their respective MLB teams, and a name that was on there that I was a little nervous to see at first, Hunter Green. But Jacob, possibly some good news for Reds fans, because Bob Nightingale doesn't think Hunter Green is going to be going anywhere.
Good news for at least the section of Reds fans that want to keep Hunter Green. I'm still surprised by what seems to be the split among this conversation. A growing group of Reds fans seem to think that trading Hunter Green should be on the table, and I understand the concept. It seems like over the last few weeks, the number of sellers on the market has really dwindled down as the wild card races in both divisions continue to scrunch up. Hunter Green becomes incredibly incredibly valuable. And that's exactly what Bob Nightingale says here. With so few sellers on the market and Green not turning 27 until 3 days after the trade deadline, the Reds may be intrigued to see just what they could command on the market. But the prediction does say staying, and that does make me feel really, really good. I think the biggest news, in my opinion, about Hunter Green at the trade deadline over the last 2 days is this article from Bob Nightingale, as well as Jeff Passan's top 100 trade deadline movers. I think Hunter Green being listed as staying on this one, and then on Passan's not listed in the top 100 potential players to be moved at the deadline, makes me feel really confident that the Reds aren't going to jump at an offer to trade Hunter Green. I still think it's on the table if they get blown away. It just makes sense for where this team is right now if someone's willing to give an insane package. But I don't think that's likely. So I'm certainly siding with Bob Nightingale and Jeff Passan saying Hunter Green will stay. And I think, regardless of how you feel about it right now, that is good news for the Reds, especially over the next 2 or 3 years.
This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
James is back at the desk, which means shenanigans is happening behind the scenes here at the Crown. Welcome back into First Word. Marisa Contipelli alongside James Rapien and Jacob Tissot. And first off, are you okay?
I'm all right.
James is okay, so we're going to continue
Let me
on
talk to you for a minute.
with a little bit of Reds talk.
Little minute.
Little minute, yeah. Got a little minute till the trade deadline hits 6 p.m. tonight.
Tick.
So the Reds going to make any moves? Are they going to be buyers, sellers, stand pat?
They're only 5.5
The look
back.
on Jacob's face right now is
Only
just
5.5 back. Do you believe in Ellie?
Buying would make me more mad than trading any player we've mentioned
All right,
so
that's
far.
crazy. Because if they bought, it would be something small.
Which is worse.
It's not worse than trading Ellie.
All they've done for the last 3 years is sit in the middle of the fence and not go one way or the other.
All right, Mr. Middle Fence. We'll dive into that in a second. But before we do that, let's just do this. Buyers, sellers, whatever. Over, under on the number of trades they make before the 6 p.m. deadline. We'll set it at 3.5. Over, under.
It's a good line.
That is. I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to take the over.
2.5. Would you still say under?
I hate when he does this.
I'll still take the over.
You're still taking the
I
over.
am.
Shocker. Yeah, I'll still take the under.
Over. Would you take the over at 4.5?
No.
Okay, so 4. You
Four
think they
moves.
make 4 trades?
What about you?
I'm hammering the under. Why have they not made a trade yet? If they're going to make 4 trades, 4?
It's a lot to
There's
get
only
done.
so many hours in the day, man. They don't have me calling the shots here where it's like, oh, that sounds good. Let's do it. I would be surprised. I was going to set this over under at 2.5, and Jacob instantly was like, I think they make like 4 deals or 3.5, like literally. So during the break. So that's it. I was going to set it at 2.5, and I think I agree with you. I think it's going to be 2 trades.
Yeah, because we only have till 6 o'clock, and when are they going to get all these done?
A trade every 2 hours?
And they could.
Yeah, multiple in 1 hour, probably close to the trade deadline. I would imagine that there's,
Fax machine not broken?
50 of trades today between now
That's a
and
Browns
6.
joke.
So
AJ
Okay,
McCarron joke.
Well, let's go through some of these names then that the Reds might potentially move on from if they're going to keep or the trade.
4 trades, 2 trades. Our
4
trades
setting-
combined equal his.
Jeez. All right, well, I'm going to set the two of you up for this. Love it or list it. We're going to run through some names here. I'm going to start off with your favorite one. L.A. De La Cruz under team control through 2029. Keep or trade.
I don't think we even hear another update on this one. Ellie's staying, and the other update was nothing anyway. So he's staying, no conversations.
I think they'll get a few more calls, but you obviously love him. You got to have him. You're going to keep him. Ellie's staying. But I do think they get a few more calls. And if I'm the Reds, if I'm another team, I'm pushing to love Ellie and get the Reds to list Ellie. And I do think it is more doable than even maybe the three of us would want to admit.
Maybe.
Which is annoying. But I do think, like, if you really want Ellie and you're one of the other 29 teams looking, you could go get Ellie, I think, today.
Well,
I do think you could.
None of us, want to talk about here in the city is we talk about the new CBA coming in as being a positive for keeping Ellie here in Cincinnati with a potential salary cap, salary floor. How do you look at 3 years of team control if there's no season next year? And we talked about that last week. Jeff Passan mentioned that there are owners in the league who are operating as if the season next year may not be played around the trade deadline. And that's how they're gauging returns and how they're gauging team control and contracts. If it's 2 years of team control instead of 3 years for Ellie, it's a very different conversation. So I do think it depends on how the Reds are viewing it, but you also need a team who's willing to pay for that essentially full 3 years while potentially not having next year.
The thing I would say, don't operate out of fear. That's such an uncontrollable thing that we just don't know about yet. I would hate if they're going into it like, we only have Ellie for 2 more years when that's not true today.
Another big name that's been linked to multiple teams, Hunter Green, on a pretty team-friendly deal, though, under team control through 2029. Love it or list it.
I'm listing him. Now, that doesn't mean that he's just gone. I value Hunter Green a lot, but he is not in Ellie territory by any stretch. And he's the number 2 guy in this rotation right now, and that's what he is. And it's valuable on a very nice contract. I get it. Has had some health issues. That's not why I'm willing to move him, but I want to see what I can get for him. And if I can get something really, really awesome, it might be worth it. And that doesn't mean you're getting back. You obviously have to get this right. This can't be get a couple of prospects that could be good one day. No, it's got to be guys that are pretty clear everyone thinks are going to be darn good. So you're going to have to get a haul for them. But I would list it because I think a guy with that type of control, following the Skubal trade, certainly someone that could fetch back a ton. Odds are Hunter Green's here at 601, but if it were me, I would list it and see what I could get.
After the Skubal trade, I'm even less inclined to trade Hunter Green. So I'm loving it. He's staying here. And I think him and Ellie should be tied directly together. I think if you're talking about moving one of them.
Yeah. I'm loving it.
If you're going to trade one of these two, you trade both of them. If you're not going to trade one of them, you keep both of them. I think these two guys should be tied directly together for this Reds team, operate in one window, and go after it with these 4 pillars for the organization moving forward.
You're crazy. Tie them together. They're not tied
you
together.
got Chase and Sal. You got Ellie and Burns. Those are your 2 windows right now. You have about a 1.5 year, 2-year window where they overlap. Go try to get it in there. If not, trade the first 2.
We could be a year away from us sitting at this desk saying trade Hunter, pay Ellie, and it being like a realistic scenario. So I can't tie them together in that way.
I don't see that situation.
Why?
How do you not extend Hunter if you're in a position to extend Ellie? That implies a cap and floor.
Because I would much rather extend Ellie over Hunter.
But you would extend them both. If you're in that window and you have to spend money for a cap and floor in that situation, you'd pay both those guys.
Have to spend money. You could spend money in a bunch of different ways. But I'm just saying Ellie would take preference.
We're going to keep moving because we have a handful of names to get through in the next couple minutes.
Yeah,
longest tenured Red, Tyler Stevenson, been in Cincinnati here since 2020. What you doing?
I still think he's getting moved, but I'm getting less and less confident because he's the one that I think potentially could have been already. There's a lot of movement in the catching market right now. I think that the calls are probably going to be where they are for Tyler Stevenson. So if they were going to move him for sure, I think they maybe would have right now. I still think he will be moved by the end of today, but less and less confident essentially by the hour.
Yeah, I'm listing, and I'm likely trading him. I can't. Like the video with Jim Day is sad and all those things. Guess what? They haven't gotten an extension done until now. So why not? Deep down, if he was like, I have to be a Red, well, they would have found common ground. They haven't. Part of that has to do with the Reds. I'm not blaming him. I'm not saying that at all. He should get as much money as he can. This is the unfortunate part of the business. Is he the top catcher available?
It's probably Ryan Jeffers or Adley Rutschman, but he's up there.
If are they available?
Yeah.
But that's it. Is like he might be the top catcher available. You might be able to get a decent amount for him, and even if you can get something remotely okay, if you know you're not paying him, and the Reds know. That's the other thing here. The Reds know if they're paying him or not, and they're going to get an offer. This is the one guy where I'm like, they're going to get an offer of something of value for Tyler Stevenson. So I'm listing it, and I'm trading him before 6.
It's the easiest, and if not the easiest, the second easiest decision on this list. He absolutely should be moved. I'm just losing confidence that they will.
Brady Singer coming off maybe his best start of the season, free agent at the end of the season. James.
List. And the starting pitching market, getting moved around, all those things. I would not be shocked if they could get something decent for Brady Singer.
Yeah, this is the easiest one. Gotta move him. No way around it.
All right, last one. Blade.
No, keep him. Too good at Great American.
I'm listing it. Great American, Great Shamerican. It doesn't matter to me, man. Hey, if you can get something of value for J.J. Blade, do it. But I'm not going to give them away. You don't got to give these guys away. You don't got to give Dane Myers away or Nathaniel Lowe away or Brock Burke away. Or Eugenio Suarez? You giving him away? You'd give him away. You'd Uber him to the next destination.
I'll pay for it.
All right, list him
Kalen
now.
Black style.
Man, goodness gracious, this guy. He'd call an Uber for Eugenio Suarez. We don't do that. You order him. Up next, what else would Jacob Tissot do ahead of the deadline? That's next right here on First Word.
This city has always had something to prove. While the rest of the country talked about us, we built our own voice. Blue collar, underdogs, built differently, overlooked, talked about like we were supposed to stay quiet. But that was never who we were, because this city doesn't wait for permission. And neither do we. And now, for the first time, Cincinnati has a network built in its image, because the biggest stories in this city deserve more than highlights. This isn't cable television. This isn't national media. This is ours. This is the Crown.
We have breaking news from the Cincinnati Bengals announced their 2026 Ring of Honor inductees. And fans, thank you for getting this one right. James Brooks and Bob Trumpy, the next two to be inducted into the Ring of Honor with the new format and with the addition of some of the modern era players. I am thrilled. I'm ecstatic that these two legends are being inducted and being honored in this way. Absolutely deserved it this year.
Excitement, absolutely. A partial sigh of relief as well, and a huge thank you to the season ticket holders and fans that got this one right. Prioritizing the guys who have done it before, and it's a shame that Bob Trumpy won't get to have his day in the stadium to see his induction, but certainly well deserving of the moment. James Brooks as well. You ask anyone that's watched him play, a lot of people say he's the best running back to ever wear the stripes. So it's a very, very good class for the Ring of Honor. Two incredibly deserving players and absolute legends of the franchise. This is what you do a Ring of Honor for. So players like James Brooks, Bob Trumpy, and a long list of guys that have already been put in over the last few years get their recognition from the organization because they've given so much to it.
This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Welcome back to First Word. I'm Jacob Tissot here with James Rapien and Marisa Contipelli, and it's time for me to have the keys. No one else here, just me. And the one move I'm going to make at the trade deadline is Brady Singer. Brady Singer is the no-brainer move that the Reds have to do at this trade deadline. $12.5 million, expiring contract for a starting pitcher who's been on the longest, best stretch of his career now. And you have teams that need starting pitching. They have to make the move. It's the one that you can't miss. If you're going to hold Brady Singer through the rest of this year, you should have extended him before the season. The White Sox traded for Luis Castillo over the weekend. Ken Rosenthal reported that they are not done making moves and are open to adding significant salary as well. Checking both of those boxes is Brady Singer. He's been great for this Reds team over his last 10 starts, and the one prospect I would target on the return is right-handed pitcher Mason Adams. Mason Adams has been a great prospect in this White Sox farm system. He's flown into their top 10 this year after recovering from a Tommy John surgery in AA and then early in AAA. It would be an ideal return for Brady Singer to have 7 years of team control of an exciting middle-of-the-rotation arm.
Sign me up. If you could get anything of significance for Brady Singer, someone that you think can be part of your future, why wouldn't you do it at this point?
That's about where I'm at.
That's it. We'll see if he continues to sing here in Cincinnati or not. The trade deadline coming up at 6. Tick, tick, tick. But up next, it is time for my top 10 Bengals. And it's not going to match them. No. You know I'm going to bring a lot of differences. We'll do that next right here on First Word.
Cincinnati, Ohio. We welcome you from Cincinnati, Ohio. Nick Ham with the fan favorite to put it away. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Oh, what a catch. The Cincinnati Reds score. What a pass. And look who scores in the Reds game.
T. Higgins is exactly what you want as a wide receiver, too. I think that's a big piece of this as well. We're not ranking which one of these we're most confident in taking a jump to being a 1. I think Pickens might have a leg up there because we've seen him do it successfully in Pittsburgh, just haven't seen it from T. Higgins. No fault of his own. Jamar Chase wouldn't be a 2 to anybody, but T. Higgins has been incredibly productive here as the 2 and has no problem taking a little bit off of his plate to feed the other guys. And I think that's really important as well. We saw that with George Pickens last year when CeeDee Lamb had huge games. He would be frustrated on the sideline, sitting all the way down the bench. Never the case with T. Higgins. I think that is really, really important when talking about wide receiver 2s as well.
It's a great point to bring up because you never have that, kind of question looming over T's head, and just his characters never come into play in that regard. And just getting to know T over the years, one of my favorites in that Bengals locker room. He's always chatting and just has that camaraderie with all the guys in there, and it's exactly the kind of, mindset that you need when you're not necessarily going to be, that first option all the time, kind of like a just what Jamar Chase demands when he's out there on the field. And so, yeah, when you have someone like a T who is more than okay with his role on this team, because he knows he's going to get fed. He knows he's going to get his targets, his touchdowns. He's such a threat in the red zone for this Bengals team because of his size advantage and the way he's able to go up and get, contested balls and how dominant he is when he's, there on man coverage. It's refreshing to have, a player like that because T could be like a Pickens and have, issue when he's not, having a 12-catch, 100-yard, 2-touchdown game or something, to that effect. So it absolutely, to your point, goes well beyond just the on-field production. It's how do they matter in that locker room.
Cincinnati, home to more than a dozen Fortune 500 companies. A city where you know someone who knows someone, and you're in business. Every weekday at noon, The Working Lunch brings you headlines from local businesses, along with exclusive interviews with owners and local leaders. East Side, West Side, northern suburbs, downtown, over the Rhine, and northern Kentucky. Real conversations, real Cincinnati. The Working Lunch with Jack Crumley, weekdays at noon, only on The Crown.
On the radio here in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati has always felt like home.
Right here on the Crown Network.
Out and about in Cincinnati, bringing you the stories that you need to hear in the Queen City.
Welcome to First Word, Cincinnati's only morning sports show, breaking down the biggest moments and the stories shaping Cincinnati sports with analysis that cuts through. First Word, setting the agenda in Cincinnati sports.
Good morning, and thank you for waking up with us here on The Crown. Welcome into First Word alongside Jacob Tissot and James Rapien. I'm Marisa Contipelli, and something I have been waiting all morning for. Jacob and I listed our top 10 Bengals on the show last week, and since then, I've been eagerly awaiting to see what his list is going to be. I can't even process the changes, the shocking waves that we're about to face here.
Yeah, if I held my breath anymore, I'd be passed out. So we need to get this ball rolling.
Breathe a little. Breathe a little. Take a deep breath. It's all right. First off, I have to correct one thing. Who'd you have number one?
Jamar.
Who'd you have?
Joe.
Yeah. Marisa gets it right every now and then, and she got it right with this one. So let's start there. Joe Burrow is the most important person, and this includes, I'm saying this at a desk that Anthony Munoz sat at less than 2 weeks ago, most important person in franchise history. Joe Burrow is number one. If you want to rank him by skill or do whatever, it doesn't matter. Joe Burrow's number one, and that's it. Because the other 9, you could trade for Joe Burrow right now, and the Bengals would still say no, because that's how valuable he is. Jamar Chase, number 2. It's no secret there. Sexy Dexter Lawrence, number 3. In an ideal world, there would be a case for him to be number 2 a year from now. That's what the Bengals need from him. T. Higgins, 4th. DJ Turner rounding out the top 5. This is where it's going to get interesting. It's no surprise I'm high on Dax Hill. I think there's definitely a scenario where Dax Hill is a Bengal next year and DJ Turner might not be. And so we'll dive into that at some point this week. Brian Cook, number 7, edging out Chase Brown. I think that's a really close one. I could have Chase Brown at 7, maybe as high as 6 on this list. I could see that argument for sure. Chase Brown, 8. Amarius Mims, 9. In an ideal world, he would be a top 5 player on this list a year from now. And number 10, and I don't think he was on either of your lists,
no.
Boye Mafe. And it's because he's their most established. I was looking at this defense, and I was looking, obviously I hit on the offense a ton, and rightfully so. And I was looking and seeing, all right, who's their most established guy? Like, is it going to be Jonathan Allen? And I was like, I could make a case for Jonathan Allen, but I don't think he's like that right now. And I was like, well, it's not Miles Murphy. He's not there yet. They didn't even pick up his 5th-year option. The Bengals don't view it that way, regardless of the scenario or reason behind it. And the reason why I think it's Boye Mafe, he had 9 sacks once upon a time a few years ago, and his contract. And I think that's a big part of it. You look at the contract and how he's respected in the league, 3 years, $60 million. And yeah, I mean, they're banking on him to be that guy. And he's done the most on that defensive front. He's ahead of the linebackers. He's ahead of Jalen Davis. He's ahead of Jordan Battle. Like, if you just play it out that way, and then you go on the other side, is he ahead of Ted Karras? They certainly hope he's ahead of Ted Karras, given the money that they're paying him. Dalton Risner should be ahead of him, should be ahead of Dylan Fairchild. Like, I literally started doing it that way, and I was like, well, this should be Boye Mafe. This is the 10th guy. Now, will it be the case 2 months from now? I hope so. We'll see. 4 months from now, I hope he's even higher. But yeah, Boye Mafe to me rounds out the top 10. And this was the hardest one. The first 9, I think we all almost had the same 9 in some order.
Yeah.
that 10th guy is really, really interesting, and I have Boye Mafe.
I find it interesting. We all had a different player in there for 10. You had Mafe, I had McPherson, you had Dylan Fairchild.
Yeah, so I think that's exciting about this team is we've had the Joe, Jamar, and T, and now obviously you have Dexter Lawrence on the defensive side of the ball as well, which is great. But now there's a group of players that you can believe in taking a huge step this year. Just having 3 different players rounding out the top 10 here at the desk proves that. I think there's a lot of guys who we don't know what their ceiling is on this Bengals team, and maybe that's not a great thing for so many unknowns on a team trying to compete for a championship this year. But it could also flip and be a great thing if a lot of them blow those expectations out of the water. So it's an interesting place to be, and not one the Bengals have been in very often over the last few years. But the first 9, we were all right there, and Mafe was certainly one I considered for that 10th spot as well. But a player that, if he's in that group and a no-brainer next year, I think it just justifies the move the Bengals made in free agency.
I'm a little surprised that you have Amarius Mims at 9 and not higher, just for how high you've kind of been on him and not only his development, but kind of what he could mean to really solidifying down that right tackle position.
Yeah, if you look at the top 10, I tried to balance it where Brian Cook, proven. DJ Turner, smaller sample size, but proven-ish. Amarius Mims, I think last year took some strides, but I still list him as a breakout candidate because he's not a Pro Bowler. He's not mentioned among the best tackles in the league yet. We may feel like he can be, but he hasn't gotten there yet. And so I looked at it and I'm like, well, Chase Brown is more proven. Look at his numbers. He's more proven, even if it's because of the way the offense is and how he fits and all those things, more proven than Mims at this point. And that's where it got interesting. Brian Cook, more proven. Might not have the upside that Mims has, but that's kind of where I looked at it. So, yeah, Mims has top 5. I mean, he could be 3 next year if he reaches his ceiling. Like, he could be ahead of Dexter.
And to no fault of Dexter's, potentially.
Right. Potentially, yes. Maybe 4. Let's say Dexter hits his ceiling 2, then fine, 4. But he can move ahead of T, move ahead of DJ. I think he has a higher ceiling than DJ. I think that you look at it, the top 5, it's definitely ceiling and how much you've proven. And then 6 through 10, it's a mixture of, I think Dax Hill, and Marisa, you were there, he was yanked all around.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And like, had they just put him at a spot, he would just be awesome. And I'm not writing his Bengals career off after this year, as a lot of people are from a contract standpoint. We'll see if that happens. Brian Cook, we know what he's going to bring. He's just going to bring stability to the back end, much, much needed. And then Brown, I think he can rise. Mims, you're right. I'm super high on him, but what has he done to this point? It's only been 2 years, and so we'll see. And then Mafe, similar, where it's like, man, if he gets 12, 13 sacks, he's going to move ahead of Brian Cook, and he's probably going to be ahead of Chase Brown. He's probably going to be ahead of Dax Hill, might be ahead of DJ Turner. But he's got to do it. And so without doing it, that's where he is. But yeah, it's a fun exercise where I think we all have the same 9 in some order. And then after that, 10 through probably 14 or 15, there's going to be some question marks about, and these guys have to go prove that they deserve to be in the top 10 moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is probably the most exciting group the Bengals have had. We've talked a lot about the high-end additions for sure, but I can't remember a time where there's this many players that could become significant pieces. And that's the biggest thing really as you look around, and Mafe obviously there in the 10 spot, but would there be a ton of surprise if at the end of this year, say, Shamar Stewart breaks out and he's in that conversation, or Cassius Howell has an unbelievable rookie year where he's up there at 7 or 8 sacks, and talking about him potentially on this list? There's significant rotation possibility in that edge rush room as well. You mentioned Jonathan Allen. I don't know how much he has left in his tank, but with the rotations on that defensive line as well, should have a chance to have a little bit of a revival season here in Cincinnati. And then the 2 linebackers, who everyone in that facility expects to take massive steps this year. Is there a road to them being in a conversation to be on this list potentially next year? Maybe, and that's potentially why so many have not made additions this offseason and rocked with these 2 going into week 1, is because there is a belief that they can take another step. So even the names we've listed, I feel like there's even more of them that could crack this list. And the most interesting thing to me is that you're 5-5, offense and defense. And it feels really good to have the roster evened out a little bit in that way.
I was honestly, now James said, I'm going to shock you guys, surprise you with my top 10. And my first thought was it's going to be 10 offensive players because we know James loves offense. And in your words, offense wins championships. I'm honestly, I was fully expecting to see your top 5 be all on offense in some way, shape, or form.
Top 5. Like, if you wanted to do that, it'd be Burrow, Chase, T, Mims,
Chase Brown.
Brown. Man,
Like,
that's tough.
it wouldn't have surprised me, is all I'm
That's
saying.
tough. T and Dexter is a very close one. And had T had, back-to-back 1,000-yard he has 21 touchdowns in 2 years.
Yeah.
There aren't many players on the planet that are even capable of doing that. DJ, the sample size is small. Dax Hill, sample size is small. The crazy thing is, I'm so high on Dax, like I've talked about ceilings with these guys. His ceiling might be higher than DJ's. And I think that's part of it. That's why I have him ahead of Brian Cook. I think his ceiling is higher. Brian Cook's the better player. From an experience standpoint, NFL resume standpoint. So it's like a nice balance. But you are right. I didn't realize how many you have the 3 defensive backs. And I think that's what this is telling me is from a pass rush standpoint, they're trying to win, but with waves and hope Dexter is the anchor and then be really, really good on the back end. And they should be. You look at it that way, like Brian Cook, Dax Hill, and DJ Turner, that should be a really good 1 through 3 in whatever order you have them. Obviously, everyone views DJ as that guy. But, man, if 3 of your best 7 are members of the secondary and you have a game-changing defensive tackle in there, that is crazy when I look at 4 of the first 7 are defense.
Like,
when's the last time that's been the case? 21, maybe?
Maybe. I don't even know then. But
21,
this is just an indication this defense should be nothing
Jamar.
lower than top 15.
Yeah, I agree with that. But like Joe Jamar, was T there?
Joe Jamar, T.
And 21.
Mixon? Yeah. Would they be, are they ahead of, so you'd have Trey, corners-wise, Cheeto.
Yeah. Mike Hilton,
Jesse.
probably. Jesse for
It's
sure.
really
there.
close.
It's close.
Jesse's ahead of Joe.
I'd even argue Logan and the top of his play that year.
But it's that balance.
DJ Reader.
And so, DJ Reader, what am I doing? Yeah. It's tough. But the fact that we're having so much discussion, the fact that defense is in the mix. One, DJ and Dax, y'all better deliver.
Yes.
Brian, you better deliver. Dexter, think he knows he needs to deliver. But to Marissa's point, top 15 defense. They should be easily top 15. Because now it's not just banking on these rookies or young players to take a step. They actually have real dudes that have done it in the league.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that is kind of flown under the radar when all the conversation around the defense this offseason has been which groups can take big steps forward, which additions can have the biggest impact. There's a lot of pressure on this DB room, and specifically the corners. They haven't been talked about this offseason, and no additions were really made there on the outside front because they seem to be taken care of. And they seem to be 2 guys that should be in the top 10 and 2 of the better players on this team. Dax and DJ have to take another step this year, or at least match what they did through the back few games of last season, because that's a huge piece of this Bengals defense taking a step, is the secondary being figured out. And then you only had to address the defensive line. You get more bodies in the edge rush room, and you can go about it that way. If these corners aren't necessarily what we think they can be this year, it's going to be a big change for what this Bengals defense is. So as great as it's been, obviously at the end of last year, to have these 2 out there together and playing at the level that they were, and all through training camp to talk about extensions and trying to bring them back, they have to deliver early. There's going to be a lot of pressure defensively on these corners, and Brian Cook as well in that safety room.
Yeah. No, there is. There is. Expectations are great, though. That's it. I would want high expectations. Oh, yeah. It's much better than the other way, right? So, yeah, I look at this top 10, and it was challenging. The first 4, I think, are no-brainers. Right.
See, I had DJ ahead of T for the ceiling factor. I think DJ can truly separate himself this season, be a top 5 corner in the league. I don't know if you can
DJ
say
ahead of T?
I did.
God. Oh my goodness.
Not taking
If he can be a top 5 corner in the league, he should
I think he has that potential. That's where I was mine was based a little bit more on projecting, and obviously it is a smaller sample size with DJ than what we've seen with T, and this is not taking anything away from T. That's just how good I think DJ is going to be this season.
I didn't process your guys' top 10. I looked briefly to make sure that we weren't identical. But I did not process it. DJ ahead of T. Maurice. Oh my goodness.
This top 5 was my top 5 as well. I think.
Are we identical?
Well, you had
top 5.
You had Jamar first.
No, you
Oh,
had
Jamar.
Jamar.
Yeah. 3, 4, 5.
Just
yeah,
ridiculous.
Jamar first.
Ridiculous.
That was one of the easier. I didn't even really think about that for me. We're not doing who's most valuable. We're doing who's best players.
Yeah. I can find another Jamar. You think JSN is Jamar?
I do not.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's.
Yeah,
Jamar.
you do. Admit it.
I don't even think JSN's
Admit it,
number 2.
Ohio State. Admit it, Ohio State guy.
I love JSN. You don't have to twist my
gracious.
arm, but I don't even think he's wide receiver 2. It's Puka.
It's not. What is this guy? No, we're not going to get into that. It's not either. Yeah, don't do that, Puka. Puka.
Just twist him up.
I'm about to, yeah. Puka Duka, all right? The Duke ball right there, all right? What are you doing to me? Come on, Puka Nacua. No chance, all right? Jamar Chase would have 3,000 yards for the Rams.
Absolutely.
So would Justin Jefferson. The Bengals put the pads on today, which means we get to see Dexter Lawrence, Boye Mafe, Joe Burrow in pads, not Puka Nacua. We'll dive into that coming up next right here on First Word.
But Jacob, you mentioned Cassius Howell and some of these young players who are new to this squad. Is he a guy that you're kind of, excited, eager to see and kind of watching this camp?
He's the one for me. He's the one I'm most excited to see in training camp. And I think he would be that way for most people if the offseason was a standard Bengals offseason. So much talk about the pass rush and the need to revamp the defense and the defensive line, especially losing Trey Hendrickson to Baltimore. Well, the Bengals did that really, really well in the second round. Cassius Howell was a consensus first rounder going into draft night, and then he fell all the way down to the Bengals in the second. A huge win for this team to get a productive pass rusher in the second round, and quite frankly, the exact opposite of Shamar Stewart from 2 years ago. An incredibly productive player at Texas A&M, first-team All-SEC, a first-team All-American, the SEC's sack leader last season, but undersized. Not exactly the ideal NFL build. Shorter arms, relies a lot on speed over power, and I think that's something I'm really excited to see as well, because that is outside of the Bengals' comfort zone. They're going to have to try new things with a player like Cassius Howell, use him a little bit differently than these big-bodied, freak athlete edge rushers that they've been drafting pretty consistently over the last few years. So I am over the moon excited to see Cassius Howell, and I think if we didn't spend so much time talking about Brian Cook and Dexter Lawrence and Boye Mafe and Jonathan Allen and DJ Turner's extension and all the other things going on with the Bengals this offseason, there would have been a lot more talk about Cassius Howell, because everything we heard last year about Shamar Stewart going into the season, Howell checks all of those boxes. Incredibly productive in college, did it at a high level against elite competition, fell a little bit in the draft, so the Bengals were able to take that advantage of that, and I think he'll be able to drop in there and be really, really productive right away, because he's great at one thing. You're not going to ask him to do a ton. He's an elite pass rusher, and that's exactly the role he's going to play for the Bengals. My name is Jacob Tissot, and I'm a co-host of First Word from 7 to 11 every morning right here on the Crown Network, where we will break down the biggest stories in Cincinnati sports. I'm a graduate of the University of Alabama, where I spent 4 seasons working for the football team as a student assistant, contributing to the 2020 National Championship and 3 SEC championships. I'm a Cincinnati native, a St. Xavier High School graduate, and will bring a local perspective and passion to covering the Bengals, Reds, and everything in between. I'm excited to have you join us on First Word.
Hey, I'm Marisa Contipelli, one of the co-hosts on First Word and a features producer here on The Crown, where I will be out and about in Cincinnati bringing you the stories that you need to hear in the Queen City. Now, I know I'm from Cleveland, but I love my Cincy sports. I've been in Cincinnati for almost a decade now, spending the last 8 seasons with the Bengals as a team reporter and senior producer. I am so excited to be a part of the team here at The Crown, and I can't wait to bring you the latest from around the city.
This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe. Welcome back to First Word. I'm James Rapien alongside Marisa Contipelli and Jacob Tissot. I almost said your boots were roots, my friend. I almost went into that. That's where my head went. I was like, oh no.
on down this laughing rabbit hole. I'm back. If you're just joining us here on this Monday, plenty to dive into when it comes to the Bengals, when it comes to training camp. And today it's a special day. You know why it's so special? Not because I'm back. No. It's because the pads are on. The pads are on, and that's a big, big thing. Joe Burrow might have shoulder pads on right now as they get ready for practice. It starts at 10 a.m. at Paycor.
How was I not ready for you to make that joke about you being back? That got me. Well done, Chris. I just have to give you a little prop there.
Look at that. No, you won't. It's okay. Your boots is roots. All right, let's dive into a padded practice. This matters, and it's a big deal. This is the closest thing we'll get. It's going to be a physical day. The closest thing we'll get to real football probably until the preseason, and who knows who plays in the preseason, who doesn't. Like, they're going to care today. They're coming off of an off day. They're going to really push it. This will not be a light day. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, all of last week is great, and football's back, and all that's fun. This is what we're all waiting for and what everyone wants to see. You can't really glean too much from non-padded practice. You need to see contact. You need to see them hit each other. Not going to be the same reaction today if Jalen Davis tackles Mike Gesicki. It's going to be a little bit more encouraging. I think this is going to be a big week for the Bengals, and seeing how much of that fire carries over from the first week into this week, and that's what we heard from Joe Burrow right after that first practice. It's easy to get up and going for practice one. How are you around day 20? And they aren't to day 20 yet, but a huge shift from over the weekend to now having pads on today. We're going to see a lot of these guys hitting each other for the first time in stripes, which is going to be really cool to see.
As much as I'm looking forward to seeing it's the sound. It's the hearing the pads hit one another, the different type of hit whether it's the sled drills or anything else. It's just that sound. It's just in that crisp air. Gets me excited.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a really good chance to look at, one, the offensive line that we're all crowning to a degree. At best offensive line of Joe Burrow's career, and they did play well last year. They have to go out there and do it. This defensive front's remade, no Shamar Stewart, but still plenty of guys that they're banking on and expecting to make an impact. Well, we'll get to see Dexter Lawrence and how small he looks in pads, how big Jalen Davis looks in pads. Here's Jalen Davis on maybe what we could see moving forward, because first training camp practice, what did we see? A little scuffle. First practice in pads, maybe we see a few scuffles.
We're just competing. Always feel like the energy got to be like that. It got to be like that on both sides of the field. Sure, I hope it's the fight every day. Like I said, to get the energy going. Like I said, we're just competing, and that's it.
Well, it felt a little chippier than normal there, day one. Y'all usually ain't getting after left off that early. Why this time?
Like I said, we're just competing. It's a different level, different mindset this year. All around,
What mindset are you looking at? Just
that right there.
Yeah.
I mean, do you like when there's a little bit of fire on the defense?
No, for sure. Like I said, practice is supposed to be harder and more intense than a game, so that's what we're trying to implement.
For you, what's the biggest obstacle in making sure intensity day one is still going strong, that level at day 20?
Like I said, just keeping it up. Putting on everybody's mind, like, hey, this is how it is, this is how it got to be on both sides of the ball there. Both sides of the ball, keep that intensity, keep the competing going.
Did you come out today wanting to kind of set that tone and say, hey, listen, we know how last year went. We want to come out and say, it's a little bit different. Is that what you want to do?
We just want to come out and just have a different mentality, and then that's what came out.
Was there anything said, afterwards with you and Jamar specifically, after you guys wrapped up that whole scuffle?
Yeah, we love each other. We just competing. That's it.
We're spirited out there today.
Yeah.
Like it like that? Is that a good way to break into camp?
No, for sure. For sure.
So, can you share what was going on? Was it
just computing, nothing else to it. There's really nothing else to it.
DJ Turner's going to downplay pads. He downplays it. I just got to play my game. I'm going up against the biggest receiver in the league, DK Metcalf. There's nothing to it. We're just getting into a fight with the best receiver on the planet, Jamar Chase. Over under a half helmet goes in the air today. Any helmets going in the air? Any helmets being thrown?
Yeah, I'll take the over.
Really?
And I'll go a step further. Trenches.
Multiple.
There's going to be an offensive D-line, O-line, D-line fight today. Not just the corners and receivers.
I'm in on there being some kind of scuffle. I don't think we're going to see helmets thrown, though. That, to me, that's like a different level. I have a feeling Zach probably squashed that after that happened that
Dexter.
day.
I would love it.
I think there's respect there, though.
I'm going to say Mims.
For sure.
Mims is going to get into it.
Mims.
Give me Fairchild try to set the tone.
With Dexter?
No, try to wrestle like Jonathan Allen or something.
I mean, Fairchild could probably handle all of them. So
for sure,
including Dexter, which is crazy to say, but he's Dylan Fairchild, state champion wrestler, undefeated.
He just seems like the one that might go out there. Doesn't have that Ted C on his chest level of thing where you don't want to get in that kind of scuffle, but trying to set the tone early. A guy who's semi-overlooked throughout the offseason, even though having a great rookie year. I'd maybe circle him as one to set the tone early.
Trenches would be the favorite, always, especially with pads on.
Nothing I like more.
Makes sense. Could there be like a Barrett Carter, Chase Brown, Barrett Carter, Andre over the middle? I'm just trying to think of like the.
Not yet. I don't think the linebackers are there yet.
Yeah.
I think that would take a level of contact that maybe isn't desired for that to happen.
What
you
about
get a crossing
Jalen
route.
Davis is involved?
I mean, I almost say 100%. If there is one, he'll be involved.
You just hear him talk like he just has a different aura about him this year. And I've known Jalen for a long time. I know you have too. Like it feels different this time around.
Yeah.
He has more confidence, a little bit more swagger with him. I think he knows what's at stake.
I hope it's not too much different. He was really good last year when he got thrown into the slot. So as long as he can copy that over, obviously a lot more on his plate this year, but also should help being in that starting role, getting reps with the ones now before week one, as opposed to just being thrown in there middle of the season. So hopefully he can, hit the ground running, and it seems like he has so far.
The thing that and I don't think they're the same style of player, but like same size as Mike Hilton, very similar size-wise. Maybe he talked to Mike this offseason because he's got the dog element that Mike always had. Like Mike never shied away from contact, tackling, all that stuff. It feels like Jalen's trying to present some of that. And you can't just make that up, but you can say, hey, this is my time now and I'm going to go do it. We'll see. I think it's interesting. But the thing I'm excited to see is Dexter Lawrence and pads going up against this offensive front.
Yes.
Because how does it impact the offense? Does the offense have a really, really bad day? Does this defensive front make Joe roll out? Are plays blown dead? Is it multiple times where Joe's throwing off platform after 7 seconds because he didn't have anyone to throw to or the pressure got there and they let it happen? Like, I think that's interesting. Does DJ Turner get his licks on Jamar Chase a little bit here and get his first interception? I haven't seen him intercept a pass yet in camp. He's had a couple pass breakups. I think that part could be fun. Will the linebackers, will we see more of them? All eyes are going to be on the defense, and rightfully so, especially day one of pads, because they probably should win today.
And that's the thing early in camp, and you mentioned it earlier in the show, but people get so torn up about the offense, and especially here in Cincinnati, where the offense has been the catalyst over the last few years, when things aren't going great early in camp, when there are incompletions, when there are big plays by the defense. That's what I want, especially through these first few days, and that carries into this week as well. There's going to be days where the offense goes out there and gets it done, and that's always going to happen when Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Chase Brown and T. Higgins and all those guys are out there. But the more and more I can see that defense take steps throughout the early parts of training camp and show that they're matched up right there and really doing their job out there with this Bengals offense will give me even more and more confidence going into week one.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be excited about. The other thing that I mentioned, and it didn't make my training camp takeaways, Eric Allen pads.
We were talking about this last week, and I was getting so excited. I think he can be a huge difference maker for this offense, and especially having a little bit more disguise of what they're going to do, because you know what's happening when Drew Sample's out there. You know what's going on when Mike Gesicki is out there, and I'm still on the feed Mike train. Everyone, don't worry about that. But Eric All, I think, just has the ability to elevate his offense to just a different level and a different place. Like we've talked all offseason long about how the Bengals can improve offensively, and I think that's a huge area that they can.
I'm just picturing Mike Gesicki with the cereal bowl, Ezekiel Elliott style.
Yes.
Is that you? Feed Mike train?
Feed him.
I did not have a Mike Gesicki Ezekiel Elliott comp on my bingo card today.
That's what she said.
We're not going that extreme.
She said feed Mike Gesicki.
2026 Mike Gesicki, 2016 Ezekiel Elliott.
Basically,
got to feed them both.
They basically built the same, run the same.
Yeah.
Same with the ball in their hand. That's it. But Eric All could matter for this offense.
He should matter.
And if he does, if he brings that new dynamic, then this offense should be able to do things that it hasn't done in the past. And tying it to pads day, we've seen a lot of under center from Joe Burrow so far. How much under center do they do in pads today? Start to work in some play action stuff. One of my favorite things from the Carson Palmer era is anytime they were by the Leaping Tiger, which everyone's going to talk about the Leaping Tiger logo, but you're like, oh, it's going to be play action or Rudy deep to Chad or Chris Henry at that point. Like you just thought, oh, they're going to try that. I would love that element. I get it. Offense is different. That was 20 years ago. All of those things. I would love that element, that threat to be there for Joe Burrow because it's a cheat code and it can help. Two things need to happen, though. You need to be able to run. You need a tight end that can block and catch. And you need to be able to hold up in pass protection. And on paper, they should be able to do all of those things this season.
They should. And the other thing with Eric All, I love the physicality that he brings. And that's something Zach Taylor has mentioned multiple times. We've heard it from some of his other teammates. He's just physical. He can be so dominant. He's so good as a blocker, too.
Yeah, it feels like that play action pass part of the offense is the last step to really have this group reach their maximum potential. You bring back the offensive line, have some confidence there this year. Chase Brown continues to get better and better in the run game. Now adding that next, arrow to your quiver, if you will, for this Bengals offense can just take it to another level for a group that's already among the best in the league.
Jordan Battle, sneaky scuffle candidate today?
Maybe. He's another one that
I was trying to think of
has
someone
to set the tone type of thing.
Yeah, I was trying to think of someone new that's like probably has a chip on his shoulder. That could be one. Dax is too calm. I don't think that's going to be it. He's just smooth operator, man. We'll see. We'll see. But regardless, we're going to have you covered. Up next, though, it is time for Contipelli's Countdown right here on First Word.
The Crown has you covered. Start your day with First Word, Cincinnati's only morning sports show. Power through midday with the working lunch, Cincinnati business talk that keeps you in the know. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city, and the Rebound Rundown covers every corner of the college basketball scene in the tri-state and beyond. This is The Crown. First Word for your morning sports, Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city, the working lunch for business that hits home, and Rebound Rundown for college hoops. This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
But just top takeaways from Joe Flacco on quarterback.
I would say my top takeaway was one of the very last scenes of the show.
Oh.
And that was after they played the Browns, and there was Browns players fighting to get his jersey. And David Njoku basically pushed a rookie tight end away. He's like, no, this is mine. And that just shows you that, and yeah, they know, they probably knew, this might be his last game ever. I want to have that jersey. But I think it was more about the person and what he meant. And he wasn't even there that long, and he built that relationship with those guys. Now, yeah, he was there previously, too, with Njoku. But that's just who he is. And we saw it even when he came, not watching the show, but you saw it in real time, what he meant when he comes in and gets hurt and is playing through the pain. And Zach talked about it last year, and Zach talked about it on the show, that he doesn't even know these guys, and he's willing to put his body on the line like that. He's willing to get a shot and go back into the game when he's got a sore shoulder, his finger gets dislocated, and say football, fingers, not a big deal, but with your quarterback, that's a huge deal. It's hard to grip the ball, and it's hard to throw. So that was my main takeaway. I really thought that we were going to see him be not a cameo, but a bit player in that series. And I'll have to go back and look, because I did write down all the times. He may have had more airtime than any of the quarterbacks on that show, because that's just who he is, the personality. He's just an interesting guy. And I think that plays well on TV. I don't know how being an interesting guy plays in the locker room, but being a great teammate certainly does, especially when you're a backup quarterback and you got to know your role. You can't be fighting there and trying to steal playing time.
This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Welcome back to First Word. I'm James Rapien alongside Marisa Contipelli and Jacob Tissot. We are your morning sports show, Cincinnati, every single weekday, 7 to 11, right here on the Crown. Hi. How you doing?
Not well.
No?
Not well.
We're back, baby.
I miss my
You're
buddy.
right next. Oh, yeah, I bet you do. And instead of Paul, you're stuck with me. How's that feel?
It feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good.
No, it doesn't.
No,
Be
it doesn't.
honest.
Not
That's
at
all
all.
right. You're
Not
not
at
going to
all.
offend me. All right, it is time for Contipelli's Countdown with Marisa Contipelli. Without Paul, sorry, everybody.
Yeah, well, at least we're feeling good having James back at the desk. And this was one of the best feel-good things I saw across socials over the weekend. It was back-together weekend across the NFL, and the Carolina Panthers made one kid's dream come true. Make-A-Wish kid Asher Harvey was granted his wish. He joined the Panthers quarterback's room, not only participated in some pregame warm-up with his favorite players over there in Carolina, but later on in the day, they actually put him in the game. He ended up scoring a touchdown. This was just absolutely phenomenal to see. Job well done by the Panthers.
I love this. And when he was running out of the tunnel, I was like, oh, that's Bryce Young. Because they're similar in height, similar in stature. But no, I love this for him. I can't imagine a better experience than this, to go out there with your favorite players and score. Look at that. Under the lights, you got the mouthpiece, you got the jersey, the helmet. It's awesome.
Yeah, this is the best. This is always some of my favorite things to see. The Reds got involved this weekend as well with Make-A-Wish, and just always some of my favorite stuff to see. Bryce has always been really great at this stuff. Bryce Young's a guy who grants a lot of wishes every single year, had multiple kids come through the facility in Tuscaloosa when I was down there working with the team and he was the quarterback. So always cool to see this kind of stuff, and exactly the kind of guy you want leading your franchise. He's one of the best, and cool to see the Panthers support him and stuff like this.
Yeah, nothing gets better than this right here. Just all of the Panthers truly supporting and being behind Asher. This is just absolutely phenomenal, and I love that the Panthers did this. I hope some moves and this kind of picks up a little bit more steam, not just across the NFL, but in other sports. I know you mentioned the Reds also participated and had Make-A-Wish kids out to a game over the weekend, but having this kind of involvement for a kid in this way, being actually immersed in with their favorite team, is just next level.
And he swagged out. Let's talk about Asher's swag. Like, he looks ready to go, man. Swag City, man. Like, you see him on the Pee Wee football field, you're like, oh, that kid can play.
Yeah, he's
going to lay the
boss kind of guy.
Correct. Yeah. That's exactly right. Like, they're going to get the ball in his hands. He's going to make 4 people miss. Everyone gang tackle. Like, you look at him right away. He's like, yeah, swagged out. Can play.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we need to turn our attention back to baseball here because and to kind of dissect the art of the slide. Right here, you have Josh Naylor tried to get into third there. Let's take a close-up. Oh, we kind of did a face plant there, and he kind of knows it like, oh, hopefully his teeth were okay in that process. So you have a slide like that, all right, right there by Josh Naylor. Ooh, it just gets worse with the different angles that we're seeing. Now I want to show you another different form of a slide, a variation. This is Chase Mydroff, and oh, look at that body control. Just the art of the slide, 2 very different ways. We have to talk about these 2 drastically different slides.
Yeah. All right. So sliding head first, always risky. I get it, especially into third. Totally understand, because you are moving. And you got to be able to do it. So I get it. Smashing your face is different, but it being ugly at times, I understand it. Far more impressed with the second slide. The pop-up, Hezzy. Y'all know how much I love a good Hezzy. The fact that he hit him with the, I'm going to be out. Hezzy. You can't. Oh, and he was fading back. That's why he picked his glove up. Just a great move, great reaction. So, understand the first one, even though it's ugly, and a lot of people probably won't. Second one, man, love the Hezzy.
Yeah, that's unreal. I think slides like that are usually some of my favorite things. That, you get the swim moves, any kind of cool workaround to tag slide is some of my favorite things in baseball. And I don't know that there's a player I'd rather see eat it on the way to third base than Josh Naylor. So great to see that as well.
Look at you.
Really?
Man.
He's up there for you like that.
Oh, he's one of the worst.
Why?
And you hear players that he plays with all the time talk about how poor of a teammate he is. So stuff like that is fun to see.
Yeah. Well, I know he's not going to be able to do slide number 2 anytime soon.
No.
But in all seriousness, art form, like sliding clearly is. You should work on it, and players do. I would work on this.
You should.
The
I mean, how
best
many
is
times have we
what-
seen Ellie even do different types of art form in that
Trey
way with
Turner's
his
the
slides?
one that pops to my mind. His slides are second to none. He's unbelievable around third base, especially around home.
Well, I was hoping we might see some tarp slides up in Cleveland over the weekend, but instead we got a kind of a benches clearing brawl that was taken away by a tarp. So let me set the scene for you a little bit. Gavin Williams had a perfect game going here up in Cleveland, and some of the Guardians players were getting a little upset at the Diamondbacks, trying to do whatever they could to ruin the perfect game, trying to bunt there. Tawa ended up getting on with a single there, so it took away the perfect game. However, tempers kept flaring and they kept chirping as this game progressed, and the rain started falling really heavy up in Cleveland. It got to the point where benches ended up clearing as they were bringing the tarp off to go into a delay, but poor grounds crew guy right there. Tarp monster's the worst. But this only continued to escalate here as we start to see the benches clear now. What ends up happening is as the tarp is being brought onto the field, the players and the coaches, I think, were so unaware that the tarp was coming on that the tarp ends up kind of like clearing them off, and they almost get taken out by the tarp. This was honestly one of the funniest things I think I saw yesterday.
Yeah, only getting the fight broken up because they had to cover home plate. It was very funny to see this take place, but I think the biggest takeaway from the weekend is why were we so focused on getting these games in? Saw it here in Cincinnati playing through the rain, up in Cleveland as well as Baltimore. Just some crazy conditions to have these guys playing in. Saw multiple hit batters. You saw the pitch bump over the catcher's head there from Gavin Williams. And here you see the tarp brushing him off home plate. Pretty funny to see, but crazy conditions this weekend in baseball.
If they were really mad at each other, they would have either fought on or off the tarp. That's how you know it's not that serious. Yeah. But if it's a serious fight and you guys are really about that, then the tarp isn't going to matter.
They could have let the tarp go over them and continue the fight underneath, like Fort style.
I would have loved that. My 3-year-old likes that. She's like, hey, let's fight under the blanket. Like that's. But that's what's funny is a lot of these are for show.
Yeah.
And in basketball, we see in every sport we see it. Sometimes it's serious and they're really wanting to go at each other. Other times it's we're going to argue and put the show on. And this was that scenario.
I feel like baseball fights are first team all hold me back, and you're like, someone please come hold me back because I don't actually want to fight.
I don't
the
know.
Other pitcher.
Basketball is like that too, man.
Yeah, you got Isaiah Stewart who just.
Yeah, but how many punches are usually thrown in basketball? Not many.
Not many.
So. Yeah,
but
there's a lot
also
of holding back.
With this too, if this was really the case, because this is just what I was seeing on social, people were saying that the whole cause of this brawl and fight was that Guardians were upset the Diamondbacks were trying to, put an end to Gavin Williams' perfect game.
Yeah.
Why is that something worth, starting a brawl and a fight over?
I agree.
What team wants to have a perfect game thrown against them?
Guess what? Field the bunt and get him out.
The only thing more important than the written rules in baseball are the unwritten rules in baseball. And if I know anything about James Rapien, he's a big unwritten rules guy. So it's stuff like this that you really stand for.
You know better. You know better. Don't do that. The dumbest thing ever. Oh, you bunted. Yeah, it's part of the game. If I can bunt and get on, I'm going to bunt and get on and ruin your perfect game. And you better play good defense, Guardians.
Not shocked.
Yeah, like, come on. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. Yeah, bunt to get on. And then he got a hit. That's called karma, you little crybabies.
Well, I'm curious if this next topic is going to cause any fights over at the desk there. Complex posted their best 25 players under the age of 25. And we had 3 Reds make the list. And counting them down right here, you had Sal Stewart coming in at number 12. At number 11 is a certain ace in that pitching rotation of Chase Burns. And then rounding out the group in the top 5 at number 5, number 44 in your program, number 1 in your hearts, Ellie De La Cruz. Do we agree with these rankings of the 3 Reds that are in the list?
Chase Burns, way too low. Just looking at the 10 guys ahead of him on this list, Connor Griffin's at 10. He's at 11. Connor Griffin hasn't played in 2 months, isn't playing for another month. He was a great prospect coming up at 19 years old, but to be ranked ahead of Chase Burns after what we've seen Burns do this year is a little bit absurd. I wouldn't even just stop there. I think there's a lot of guys Burns should be ahead. Ellie probably seems about right, and love to see Sal finally get some love that he deserves. So Burns is the one I have the most pushback for.
Yeah, I totally get that. Paul Skeens ahead of your boy.
Body of work makes it tough. This year, there's no debate. Burns has been
Skeens
better.
ahead of Ellie?
Yes. Yes.
Also worth noting, Sal is ahead of Weatherholt, NL Rookie of the Year
Big time.
race.
Big time.
That is Mezarowski won.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
mean.
anyone's too close to him right now. It's crazy it's crazy how he separated himself, though. So all the Skeens talk going into this year, and now I think it's a battle for who's the second best pitcher in the National League between him and Sanchez and Burns, and Miz has a 1.53 ERA. It's unbelievable.
Something to strive for if you're Chase Burns. I like that all three are in this mix. That's my main takeaway. If we're going to say he should be 7 versus 10, fine. But we're all right. All right, I'm not going to have major beef. The fact that all three are on here is great.
Not only in the mix, they're 3 of the top 12 players. That shouldn't go overlooked. I mean, this just goes to show that the Reds have this nucleus, this core. They have to find a way to take advantage of this window and to build around them.
Yeah, it's actually a good reminder at the deadline. They shouldn't be, whether or not they are far away, they shouldn't be that far. If they have 3 of the top 12 players under 25,
should be able to build a core around that.
That shouldn't be rocket science. Just put that out there. My goodness. That should make everybody much madder if they don't think they can build around this core than bunting down 5 or down 50, which is still, I've read some YouTube comments. No, you can bunt anytime you want. Most ridiculous thing ever.
Well, one of the guys in that young core, Chase Burns, picked up the win yesterday, his 12th straight decision with a win. And after the game, we got this really cool point of view from Ivan Johnson, a little Reds series win cam, because not only did they get a big series win, 3-1 over the Pittsburgh Pirates, it's their 4th series win now following the All-Star break. And I just thought this was a cool little video that the Reds posted.
It's awesome, but I have to ask, when's the next time we're going to see this series wins cam? Now that I'm back. Now that I'm back at the desk. 4 straight. I was here 2 Mondays ago. It was just getting started. I don't know, man. I don't know.
We better be coming in Friday morning talking about a series win over the A's. Otherwise, we're going to have some problems, James.
Yeah, that's bad news. You're in a bad spot right now.
It's not a good spot to be in.
No, the calendar does not help. But I'm glad they're giving Ivan Johnson, the camera, something to do here. Since he got called up on June 30th, he's played in 10 games, taking 10 at-bats. So glad to see him have the camera there and do something during the game.
Yeah, you got to get those steps in. Look, all I know is, man, the pressure's on me. We will see. I'm down 10 runs, and I'm about to bunt. That's all I know.
Hey, at least it's the A's. That should help.
Time will tell what's going to happen here at the desk with James and his Reds win-loss record. But I can tell you what's coming up next. It's time for us to get back and check in on the results of our What's the Word poll question of the day. And it has to do with Reds shortstop Ellie De La Cruz.
The Crown has you covered. Start your day with the first word. Cincinnati's only morning sports show. Power through midday with the working lunch. Cincinnati business talk that keeps you in the know. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. And the Rebound Rundown covers every corner of the college basketball scene in the tri-state and beyond. This is The Crown. Built for Cincinnati. First word for your morning sports. The working lunch for business that hits home. Nat tries that for lifestyle around the city. And Rebound Rundown for college hoops. This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Okay, who are you? Well, you have a First State Bank checking account, so you'll be getting cash back whenever you use it.
Oh,
Open a checking account at First State Bank for cash back. First State Bank, built on belief.
How did you get in here?
USA Today posted 12 players who possibly are on the bubble right now for their respective MLB teams, and a name that was on there that I was a little nervous to see at first, Hunter Green. But Jacob, possibly some good news for Reds fans because Bob Nightingale doesn't think Hunter Green is going to be going anywhere.
Good news for at least the section of Reds fans that want to keep Hunter Green. I'm still surprised by what seems to be the split among this conversation. A growing group of Reds fans seem to think that trading Hunter Green should be on the table, and I understand the concept. It seems like over the last few weeks, the number of sellers on the market has really dwindled down as the wild card races in both divisions continue to scrunch up. Hunter Green becomes incredibly valuable, and that's exactly what Bob Nightingale says here. With so few sellers on the market and Green not turning 27 until 3 days after the trade deadline, the Reds may be intrigued to see just what they could command on the market. But the prediction does say staying, and that does make me feel really, really good. I think the biggest news, in my opinion, about Hunter Green at the trade deadline over the last 2 days is this article from Bob Nightingale, as well as Jeff Passan's top 100 trade deadline movers. I think Hunter Green being listed as staying on this one, and then on Passan's not listed in the top 100 potential players to be moved at the deadline, makes me feel really confident that the Reds aren't going to jump at an offer to trade Hunter Green. I still think it's on the table if they get blown away. It just makes sense for where this team is right now if someone's willing to give an insane package. But I don't think that's likely. So I'm certainly siding with Bob Nightingale and Jeff Passan saying Hunter Green will stay. And I think, regardless of how you feel about it right now, that is good news for the Reds, especially over the next 2 or 3 years.
This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe. First Word rolls off. I'm James Rapien alongside Marisa Contipelli and Jacob Tissot. We are your morning sports show, Cincinnati, and it is time to get to the poll question of the day. The poll question where we are T-minus. Are you ready for this? 8 hours and 8 minutes away from the MLB trade deadline.
Good math. Good job.
Will Elly De La Cruz still be a Cincinnati Red in 8 hours and 9 minutes? That is the subject of today's poll question. And let's get to those results. Make sure you follow at First Word Cincy on X to chime into our daily poll question on our What's the Word poll question of the day. 38.3% of you say no way. Shut it down. Not trading Elly. 36.4% say it can't hurt to listen. 22.7% say yes, listen and consider moving Elly De La Cruz. And 2.7%, including Casey McAllister, say listen and shop him around ahead of the deadline that is now 8 hours and 7 minutes away.
I'm going to guess that Casey didn't consult the rest of the control room before he submitted that vote, because I have a really hard time thinking Gabe and Dave and Adam and David and everyone else back there would agree with that.
I don't know.
Gabe just said he did not consult them. So
there we go.
We have confirmation that Gabe was not consulted.
You were sending me down a hole. I don't know. Could we?
No, I think 2.7% of people have lost their mind with the trade deadline coming up in about 8 hours. So absolutely crazy to think that the Reds should shop Elly De La Cruz. I understand the sentiment that they should listen. I think there's a conversation and argument that they should listen on every player on their roster. When you're 16 games back in the division, 5.5 games back of the wild card, and have one of the worst farm systems in baseball. I think there's an argument to be made to listen to everybody. But I don't think they should be calling or shopping Elly De La Cruz.
I get it. I totally do. I would not shop Elly De La Cruz either. I would listen. I would be willing to pick up the phone. And the reason why is I assume teams are smart enough to know, and clearly the Red Sox weren't. We're asking this because the Red Sox made an offer to the Reds for Elly De La Cruz, and it was like pennies for $4. It made no sense for the Reds to do, based on the report. But what if you do get not 50 cents on the dollar or $1 on the, what if you get $10 for your dollar? And it's just a haul. And you got to listen. You owe it to yourself to listen. And I think that's where a lot of people are, and I get that. Let's take a look at some of your responses here. And to me, it would be really, really hard to trade him now. And that's what LH says. He says, no season next year. Elly gives us a full 2028, likely traded at deadline in 29 when he's a rental and a new expensive contract looming. If you're not planning on competing in that time frame, why let his value decline? It's Carl, so they will, but they shouldn't. Also, I don't think they should expect no season next year. I think that's part of the conversation, certainly, is the CBA. Steve says, more apathetic than anything, that franchise is like watching Groundhog Day. Same old, same old. They pander to fans, blah, blah, blah. They're embarrassing from the owner on down. Look, I get it. You're frustrated. I'm not trading Elly unless I can get a haul.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you.
And then after that haul, I want another haul. And then I want another haul. Paul, who talks ball, isn't here today. But up next, we will talk ball. A little Bengals coming your way as we roll on. Training camp winners and losers right here on First Word.
The city lives and breathes sports, and now it finally has a morning show to match. I'm James Rapien, and this is First Word, the only morning sports show in Cincinnati and the place where every day starts. First Word, weekdays 7 to 11, part of the Crown Network.
The ranking season continues, and the other constant of ranking season is disrespect to people with stripes on their helmet. It seems like a lot of helmet scouting here across the ESPN rankings from NFL execs, scouts, and coaches, and another one here. I don't really understand how you have Brian Cook outside of your top 10 safeties going into next season. He was just the #1 free agent safety, and I understand not every safety is a free agent, but this is a guy who's played at a very, very high level in Kansas City and won championships. We've seen a lot less garner a lot more respect throughout this offseason in rankings like this across various different position groups. I thought there was going to be a conversation about Brian Cook potentially being in the top 5. He is not. He is not in the top 10. He is not in the top 15. It is really, really shocking to me. And I think when you look at the numbers, potentially, it's because he doesn't have those splash plays. He's not a huge turnover guy, only 6 passes defended last year. But when you look at some of the other numbers, he's just so good and so consistent. And that's the thing that maybe doesn't jump off the page when you look at the box score or pull up Pro Football Focus or anything along those lines. But this is a guy who was the #4 overall safety, according to PFF, in 2025. He had the #6 coverage grade and the #15 run defense grade. He was top 10 in total missed tackles and had a 4.5% missed tackle rate, which was last, or best, I should say, out of all safeties with his number of snaps. It's unbelievable what Brian Cook does out there. It's going to be a welcome sight for Bengals fans to watch him in the back end. People are going to figure it out, I guess, this year. I didn't realize how many people are going to be shocked by this year's Bengals team, but it seems like a lot of them will be.
Hello, my name is Natalie Jones, and welcome to the Nat Jones Show. After retiring from my 10-year radio career here in Cincinnati, I caught the bug, and I'm happy to bring it here to the Crown. I love captivating people who have captivating stories to tell. And the thing about it is, everybody has a story to tell. All you got to do is empower them to do so. That is exactly what I'm doing here. Because life is better when we all stay curious and we all stay connected.
Cincinnati means business. What does that mean for you and your community? The Working Lunch, every weekday at noon, takes you behind the local business scene with local headlines, interviews with owners and local leaders. The Working Lunch with Jack Crumley, only on The Crown.
On the radio here in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati has always felt like home.
Right here on the Crown Network.
Out and about in Cincinnati, bringing you the stories that you need to hear in the Queen City.
Welcome back to First Word. I'm James Rapien alongside Marisa Contipelli and Jacob Tissot. I'm back. How about that?
He's back.
Have I annoyed you guys yet?
No.
It's only the first show back.
Man, tomorrow, I thought for sure by now, it was like, yeah. Tomorrow while you slept.
Oh, no.
That early?
I'm saying like 6:30, 6:45.
Oh.
Before we're
Yeah, because today it was like, oh, good to see you.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it's going to be like, dude.
Oh, he's back
It's
again.
6:21. Marissa's going to be like, it's 6:21, man. The show doesn't start for a while. Anyways, I'm back. Yeah. She's like, oh, my God.
Wrong.
It's almost exactly how it goes. Usually.
Yeah.
I can read the room. Can half read, but can read the room. Let's read the Bengals training camp room as they're warming up right now. They are stretching right now. The pads are on at camp. Joe Burrow is throwing footballs. Dexter Lawrence getting loose. Look, cameraman Doug is getting stretched out there. There we go. Maybe he's going to go put on the pads. Who knows? All I know is that we're 1 week into training camp. They've had multiple intense practices, and it's time to do an early edition of winners and losers. And the first winner has to be Dexter Lawrence, right? You guys agree
Feels
it's
like
Dexter
it.
Lawrence?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just returning. I just want to make sure that you guys Dexter?
Unless we want to say collectively the offensive line, but it's because Dexter Lawrence.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Do they benefit from it? For sure.
But still, I think that's because of Dexter Lawrence. Headliner of the defense, essentially the headliner of the improvement on the offense so far. He gets the number one slot.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Dexter Lawrence, everything he's shown from a leadership standpoint, obviously you've seen the push in the pocket, and he got that endorsement from Joe Burrow. Here's what Joey B had to say about sexy Dexy.
Yeah, he got back there pretty quick a couple times. We're going to have to get that thing out. Make some blind throws today just because of how big he is. And, he pushes that pocket, gets close to you, and you have to be able to throw around him, throw without seeing. And it gets ready for the games, but that's a challenge. So that's going to be a big part of our team this year. I'm excited to watch it.
It's important for a few reasons. One, that was the first practice back, and Joe's making those comments. Two, what kind of impact does he make today? And I think that's the fun part. Obviously, we'll have to wait until tomorrow's show to react to it, but pads are on. All the Dexter stuff is great. Winner's great. That's great that he was a winner over a few practices. We need to see it today.
Yeah, and I keep refreshing X because I want to see those first few clips come through my timeline of any of the guys in pads, but really Dexter Lawrence, the guy that we're all going to be paying close attention to, because I also want to see we've heard about the offensive line speaking about what it's like going up against him. All right, well, pads are coming on. Let's actually see it now. How disruptive is Dexter going to be, and how much better is he going to make those guys on that interior?
Yeah, offensive and defensive line, it's great to hear them talk positively about each other. They know how these non-padded practices have gone. A lot of veterans in both groups, but you can't measure those groups until pads are on. Shorts and T-shirts, those are the two groups especially that it's hard to watch anything about without pads. So it's really exciting as those are two groups I think most people are most excited to watch, see the steps a lot of those guys can take, that this, today is the first step in that direction.
Yeah, it's huge. And the thing that I wonder, Zach mentioned last week how defensive tackles in the defensive line, he's going to give rest days to some guys. Outside of B.J. Hill, I think we'll see everyone today. We'll see, but I think you'll see sexy Dexy. He got the off day Saturday going into Sunday ahead of full pads. I think that was very much the logic. I think you see all hands on deck today, and then maybe tomorrow it's a little lighter. But that's what's exciting to me is this is the next step for Dexter. It's also the next step for this offensive front, to your point. And if the Bengals are going to be what we hope they are, the offense needs to be awesome. And this offensive line, a week from now, a week into pads, we need to be saying that they're a winner, even though they have to deal with Dexter Lawrence, even though they have to deal with Jonathan Allen and multiple edge rushers like Boye Mafe, who the Bengals are banking on. This offensive front needs to be on this winners list a week from now. I think they did pretty good last week, but it was just nothing. It was just shorts, T-shirts, and helmets. We need to see in pads in these shows that they're ready to go.
I think the biggest thing for me is obviously the main talking point around the offensive line is keeping Joe Burrow upright. All the run game and all that stuff's going to be great, and obviously is going to be huge for this team throughout this season. One of the big things we've focused on this offseason, that as long as they can get better at that, this offense will continue to get better. But making sure Joe Burrow's not throwing off his back foot, that Dexter Lawrence isn't winning one-on-ones up the middle consistently and unraveling team periods. Make sure that he has the pocket and plays are able to develop. That's what I'm watching most for this offensive line, is that he's going to have the time he needs, and then he doesn't need a ton of time to get that ball out. A lot of things from last year that we saw when Joe Flacco was running the offense, I think Joe Burrow can glean from that and get even better himself. So as much as there is pressure on the offensive line to respond to the new look defensive line and everything along that early in training camp, I think it's how Joe Burrow reacts to pressure and how much time he needs back there as well, because this is going to be a better pass rush than he's gone up against in practice, really in his career. And we talk about how much that can help the offensive line, but that can help him too as he goes into these games and he has less time and he's less comfortable in the pocket. Then you've done that now Monday through Friday as well, and I think that'll help him a ton going through this season.
No doubt about it. And another big winner for this Bengals offensive line, probably by the end of camp, I wouldn't say just yet, it's going to be Dylan Fairchild. I mean, this guy going into his second year, expecting him to, take what he did in year one, build off of that now in his sophomore campaign. There's no one better to be going up against in practice every day than an interior defensive lineman like Dexter Lawrence. He's not going to see anything like remotely close to that when it comes to game action play, like he's going to be getting every single day, all these reps during camp and not the course of practice. So I'm excited to see just that Dexter Lawrence effect on a young guy like Dylan Fairchild and how it's going to benefit his game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's it. Is if Dexter Lawrence gets the most out of Dylan Fairchild, and now Fairchild's ready to hit the ground running week one, to deal with Vita Vea, if he's there or not. We'll see what happens in Tampa. Get him out of there, by the way. That's one of the many things that I wasn't at the desk for.
Maybe not to the Rams. They don't need any more.
I'd rather play him week one than in February.
Everyone's doing that. Note that as a future topic. Not worried about
everyone's doing what? What do you mean?
The February rematch thing.
It's not
everybody's doing it.
Rematch thing, or just the Rams are going to be there. So if the Bengals get there, then it is a rematch. Like I don't think it's necessarily reaching for a rematch of 21 as much as it's the NFC is decided on paper.
I don't think nothing's decided. Stafford, we're one play away from a bad backup quarterback going in there.
That you could say that for every team.
Really, really bad. Not for the Bengals. Joe Flacco.
Okay.
The Rams were hoping to get
what he's
Joe
doing?
Flacco.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Rams are hoping to get Joe Flacco.
I
No, they were. They were hoping. They tried to get him.
Right.
And he said,
they got a pretty good
I don't want to be ahead of Ty Simpson. He was like, I want to be ahead of Josh Johnson.
Right.
That's what he said.
Right.
Verbatim. Quote it.
Bama guy loves Ty Simpson. So there we go. All right. Other winners. Let's go positive here.
Yeah. Dexter Lawrence, obviously the headliner from the defense, but a guy we've played the audio from already, and I think one of the biggest standouts of the first week is Jalen Davis. I mean, he's been talked about as much as any non-headliner on the defense has been talked about throughout that first week, and maybe some not for the best reasons. You'd like it to be interceptions or PBUs or anything along those lines, but I love to see that kind of chip on his shoulder early in camp. He's a player who, much like the linebackers, is going to have to take a huge step this year with a lot more on his plate than he's ever had before in his career. He's going to be a starter, or at least looks like he's going to be a starter on a defense trying to win a championship. That is a lot for a guy who's been in the league as long as he has, been with the Bengals as long as he has, and have never really had that shot until the end of last year. I love what I've seen from Jalen Davis so far in camp. I don't know that you could ask for a whole lot more out of him so far, and hopefully that just continues to go. And the idea of a potential slot corner battle is out of our mind by the end of this week.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I was prepared to talk about Jalen Davis being one of the winners of camp, but you've said everything perfectly just then. I've been so high on Jalen, and I will continue to be high on him through the duration, hopefully, of the season. But another guy we've talked about on the show a little bit too, for me, it's Eric All. The fact that he's cleared, he's back out there, he's healthy, he looks the part, he has that physicality about him, and has even caught Joe Burrow's eye. Like Burrow has mentioned how he looks fit and fast and explosive, and Burrow saying he's going to make a difference for this offense. So he's another one where I just think it's a huge win and a bonus for this team to have him back out there.
Saw an awesome interception from Demetrius Knight, and I believe it was day 2 of practice. Barrett Carter's blowing up a few plays. Either of those linebackers sliding on the winners list so far?
I think so.
Yes, because they're not on the losers list. And that makes them winners. Think
That's
about
fair.
all the time we spent on linebackers. If they can avoid the losers list, then they instantly go the other way because of where expectations are. The expectations for the linebackers aren't. The expectations for the linebackers are what we were hoping from the defense the past 2 years. Just be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're just okay at linebacker, this defense should be really good because I believe in the secondary and I believe in the defensive front. And so then you have a solid front seven with solid linebacker play. So, yeah, I mean, I've noticed them. And they have something to prove today for sure. But, yeah, they're on the winners list because they're not on the losers list. For me, at least, if that makes sense.
I think that's a completely fair way to view it. And with that for the linebackers, with Dexter delivering everything he has so far, Jalen Davis emerging, all the great things for the defense, I think the number one winner of training camp so far is Al Golden. You finally have the pieces to run the defense that you want to run. You were hired here last year because this front office and coaching staff believes in you. You talked so much about Shamar Stewart and how excited you were for the versatility of him along the defensive line, and then you avoid a potential season-ending injury scare early in training camp. I don't think this week could have gone much better for Al Golden going into his second year as the Bengals defensive coordinator. I think this is a huge win for him so far. Now, obviously, he takes a step now with pads on, but what more could you want through week one if you're Al Golden in this defense? He's changed the way he's running things. We talked a little bit earlier about Boy Mafe and coverage. We haven't seen that from the edges necessarily on this team over the last few years. It looks a lot different than it did at points last year, closer to where it was at the end of last season, where this group started to pick it up a bit. I think he's the one that has really changed the way the expectations are the most through the first week.
Yeah, it's a good point. And I think we all believe in him to a degree here, but he's got to prove it.
Right.
As much as anybody has to prove it, because it worked in college. It worked when he was the linebackers coach. It's got to work as DC. Mm-hmm. And he does have the pieces now. Like, there is a ton of talent in that room. And is it perfect? No, but very rarely do you have a perfect roster. And that's part of it all offseason, is it was like, all right, well, yeah, but they didn't address linebacker. And it's like, fine, but should they be better? And they should be significantly better. And then they make the Dexter Lawrence trade, and it's like, well, they better be really, really darn good on defense. And I think that's fair. And that falls, like, if Al Golden's a really good defensive coordinator, he should be able to overcome a couple young linebackers. Like, if you just say it out loud that way. Now, if Shamar Stewart is a huge loser here, and the Bengals defense is a huge loser here, and it stinks. And it doesn't mean that anything other than he loses all of camp,
right?
All of preseason. I think he'll be back week one. Early signs point in that direction. We'll see. But a guy that needed all those reps, it stinks, and it stinks for the Bengals defense because I think of all of them, and this is someone that praised Boye Mafe earlier in the show. Of all the defensive ends in this room or on this roster, Shamar Stewart had the highest ceiling. So it really stinks that he went down so early.
And obviously injuries for any player, especially at that point in camp, really stink. But probably as meaningful as a camp as any player on this Bengals roster for Shamar Stewart, for both what he needs in terms of reps now in the NFL and the time he missed last year, but also how much he's going to be asked to do this year. He's a key piece of that edge rush rotation. And as of right now, we haven't seen him with significant time in a Bengals uniform. I mean, he looked pretty solid against the Browns in week one last year, one of the Bengals' highest graded players after that game, and then injuries derailed the rest of his season. So hopefully he can be back by week one, and hopefully these injuries are now behind him, because you're absolutely right, James. I think he does have the highest ceiling on this defensive line. And it's not just in the edge rush room. It's the versatility at his size to be able to play on the inside as well, which I think will free up a lot for Al Golden to do what he wants to do. So hopefully he can put it behind him and get healthy and get back by week one. But Shamar Stewart's a guy I'll still just buy as much stock as I can find.
Yeah, I think the ceiling is still extremely high for Shamar Stewart. Don't love that it's now his first 2 seasons in the league and you've had early injuries in each of these first 2 years too, so hopefully that can become a thing of the past. But the last thing in the world I would want to is for Shamar, knowing that he has something to prove out there and that he needs to be a big key piece for this edge group. I do not want him rushing back just to be ready to go for week one. Obviously still don't know the extent, just right now hyperextension of the knee, but with something like that, I'd rather have him back week 3 or 4 fully healthy than like a 80-90% for week one.
Yeah, I totally agree. That happened to him last year, just fighting uphill the whole time, never got right, got hurt again, just tough. So hopefully he can get back to 100%. I thought it was much worse in real time. I mean, you looked at the play, rough, so at least he'll be back this year. The one that I want to mention, it's like a under-the-radar winner through a week. And we'll see if we feel this way on Wednesday after a couple more practices. Taj Brooks, getting some looks on the field with Burrow, like in 11s, just throwing it out there. Like, I think it's interesting. We'll see. But that's It's a good sign early on.
And they need to figure out what they have in Taj Brooks, because how much have we talked about the depth behind Chase Brown?
Yeah, there's no doubt.
I thought there was something to be gained by giving him a little bit more run last year at times, in terms of having no clue now in training camp what you have in a second-year player, but always tough to figure out how to get guys like that on the field. So it's nice that they're using the early camp days for that, and it changes a lot for this Bengals roster if Taj Brooks can be Texas Tech Taj Brooks. He was awesome and incredibly productive in college, and a much different player than Chase Brown in terms of the versatility, but similar in terms of the miles on their tires coming out of college. He's a guy who did it at a high level for multiple years as the bell cow back at Texas A&M. So if he is to be dropped in without seeing anything in the NFL, maybe he's a guy who can pick it up really quickly and help right away. So there is some optimism in that side of things. He had the most rushing yards in that draft class, so maybe he can be good, and hopefully you can see something out of him so far this year, because they took him for a reason. So hopefully he can carve out some kind of a role.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, because on one hand, I want to believe. On the other, you're right. You'd hope to see him last year. If he had flashed anything at the end of last year, I think they would have used him. We didn't see him last year, but maybe it took an offseason, and now he comes in. I think you guys lean toward figuring out what it is that he is and what he can be. And if he isn't that guy, then you can go find it. And I think that's it. I think that's what this is. That's why I said early when, like, he's out there, he's got to make the most of it. And we'll certainly learn more about him and the rest of the Cincinnati Bengals when the pads come on today. We'll dive more into the Bengals ahead. Up next, though, the trade deadline. It's soon, 6 p.m. I'm not going to do the math. Will the Reds make a deal? Multiple deals? 4 deals? 5 deals? Just 1 or 2? We'll dive into that next right here on First Word.
Please help me. I'm struggling to understand why this is still a topic of conversation in the way that it has been.
This week was like the 2026 NL Cy Young race for worst word. I mean, there were a billion of the best contenders we've ever had this week, and this one still won without really any debate. And I think it's for multiple reasons. One is what Dan Graziano said right there in the clip where he's talking about Joe Burrow going to LA. Joe Burrow's never asked out of Cincinnati. No. Joe Burrow's never said that he wants to be moved. And then Mike Greenberg mentions the frustrations last year. At no point in those frustrations did he say he wants out of Cincinnati. So I don't understand the sentiment that if this season goes poorly, Joe Burrow will be on the outs. I don't understand that at all, because we've never heard it from the Bengals and we've never heard it from Joe Burrow. So I don't get why everyone keeps planting their flag there. But the Joe Burrow of it all is just one piece of this. Why is everyone still talking about the Rams? The Rams drafted a quarterback in the top 15 this year in the draft. They have a rookie quarterback in Ty Simpson that they used their highest draft pick since Jared Verse on. They're not going to go move off of him for Joe Burrow after never seeing him play, or they wouldn't have drafted Ty Simpson. So I don't understand this conversation whatsoever. I think they're running out of options, because all of these people that want Joe Burrow out of Cincinnati long before he was ever drafted here have had LA written down for a long time. And then when they draft Simpson in the draft this last season, it changes everything, and these people aren't ready to move off of it.
James is back at the desk, which means shenanigans is happening behind the scenes here at the Crown. Welcome back into First Word. Marisa Contipelli alongside James Rapien and Jacob Tissot. And first off, are you okay?
I'm all right.
James is okay, so we're going to continue on
talk to you for a minute.
with a little bit of Reds talk.
Little minute.
Yeah. Got a little minute till the trade deadline hits 6 p.m. tonight.
Tick.
So the Reds going to make any moves? Are they going to be buyers, sellers, stand pat?
They're only 5.5
The look
back.
on Jacob's face right now is
Only
just
5.5 back. Do you believe in Ellie?
Buying would make me more mad than trading any player we've mentioned
All right,
so
that's
far.
crazy. Because if they bought, it would be something small.
Which is worse.
It's not worse than trading Ellie.
All they've done for the last 3 years is sit in the middle of the fence and not go one way or the other.
All right, Mr. Middle Fence. We'll dive into that in a second. But before we do that, let's just do this. Buyers, sellers, whatever. Over, under on the number of trades they make before the 6 p.m. deadline. We'll set it at 3.5. Over, under.
It's a good line.
That is. I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to take the over.
2.5. Would you still say under?
Hate when he does this.
I'll still take the over.
You're still taking the
I
over.
am.
Shocker. Yeah, I'll still take the under.
Over. Would you take the over at 4.5?
No.
Okay, so 4. You
4
think they
missed.
make 4 trades?
What about you?
I'm hammering the under. Why have they not made a trade yet? If they're going to make 4 trades, 4?
It's a lot to
There's
get
only
done.
so many hours in the day, man. They don't have me calling the shots here where it's like, oh, that sounds good. Let's do it. I would be surprised. I was going to set this over under at 2.5, and Jacob instantly was like, I think they make like 4 deals or 3.5, like literally. So during the break. So that's it. I was going to set it at 2.5, and I think I agree with you. I think it's going to be 2 trades.
Yeah, because we only have till 6 o'clock, and when are they going to get all these done?
A trade every 2 hours?
And they could.
Yeah, multiple in 1 hour, probably close to the trade deadline. I would imagine that there's, a
fax machine not broken.
50 of trades today between now and 6.
Joke.
So
Major McCarran joke.
Well, let's go through some of these names then that the Reds might potentially move on from if they're going to keep or the trade.
4 trades, 2 trades. Our
4
trades
setting?
combined equal his.
Jeez. All right, well, I'm going to set the two of you up for this. Love it or list it. We're going to run through some names here. I'm going to start off with your favorite one. Ellie De La Cruz under team control through 2029. Keep or trade?
I don't think we even hear another update on this one. Ellie's staying, and the other update was nothing anyway. So he's staying, no conversations.
I think they'll get a few more calls, but you obviously love him. You got to have him. You're going to keep him. Ellie's staying. But I do think they get a few more calls. And if I'm the Reds, if I'm another team, I'm pushing.
Yeah.
To love Ellie and get the Reds to list Ellie. And I do think it is more doable than even maybe the 3 of us would want to admit.
Maybe.
Which is annoying. But I do think, like, if you really want Ellie and you're one of the other 29 teams looking, you could go get Ellie, I think, today.
Well,
I do
one
think
thing
you could.
None of us, want to talk about here in the city is we talk about the new CBA coming in as being a positive for keeping Ellie here in Cincinnati with a potential salary cap, salary floor. How do you look at 3 years of team control if there's no season next year? And we talked about that last week. Jeff Passan mentioned that there are owners in the league who are operating as if the season next year may not be played around the trade deadline. And that's how they're gauging returns and how they're gauging team control and contracts. If it's 2 years of team control instead of 3 years for Ellie, it's a very different conversation. So I do think it depends on how the Reds are viewing it, but you also need a team who's willing to pay for that essentially full 3 years while potentially not having next year.
The thing I would say, don't operate out of fear. That's such an uncontrollable thing that we just don't know about yet. I would hate if they're going into it like, we only have Ellie for 2 more years when that's not true today.
Another big name that's been linked to multiple teams, Hunter Green, on a pretty team-friendly deal, though, under team control through 2029. Love it or list it?
I'm listing him. Now, that doesn't mean that he's just gone. I value Hunter Green a lot, but he is not in Ellie territory by any stretch. And he's the number 2 guy in this rotation right now, and that's what he is. And it's valuable on a very nice contract. I get it. Has had some health issues. That's not why I'm willing to move him, but I want to see what I can get for him. And if I can get something really, really awesome, it might be worth it. And that doesn't mean you're getting back. You obviously have to get this right. This can't be a get a couple of prospects that could be good one day. No, it's got to be guys that are pretty clear everyone thinks are going to be darn good. So you're going to have to get a haul for them, but I would list it because I think a guy with that type of control following the Skubal trade, certainly someone that could fetch back a ton. Odds are Hunter Green's here at 601, but if it were me, I would list it and see what I could get.
After the Skubal trade, I'm even less inclined to trade Hunter Green. So I'm loving it. He's staying here. And I think him and Ellie should be tied directly together. I think if you're talking about moving one of them.
Sponsorship.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
If you're going to trade one of these two, you trade both of them. If you're not going to trade one of them, you keep both of them. I think these two guys should be tied directly together for this Reds team, operate in one window, and go after it with these four pillars for the organization moving forward.
You're crazy. Tie them together. They're not tied
you
together.
got Chase and Sal. You got Ellie and Burns. Those are your two windows right now. You have about a year and a half, 2-year window where they overlap. Go try to get it in there. If not, trade the first two.
We could be a year away from us sitting at this desk saying trade Hunter, pay Ellie, and it being like a realistic scenario. So I can't tie them together in that way.
I don't see that situation.
Why?
How do you not extend Hunter if you're in a position to extend Ellie? That implies a cap and floor.
Because I would much rather extend Ellie over Hunter.
But you would extend them both. If you're in that window and you have to spend money for a cap and floor in that situation, you'd pay both those guys.
Have to spend money. You could spend money in a bunch of different ways. But I'm just saying Ellie would take preference.
We're going
Anyways,
to keep
let's
moving. So we have a
rolling.
handful of names to get through in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, Jacob.
Longest tenured Red, Tyler Stevenson, been in Cincinnati here since 2020. What you doing?
I still think he's getting moved, but I'm getting less and less confident because he's the one that I think potentially could have been already. There's a lot of movement in the catching market right now. I think that the calls are probably going to be where they are for Tyler Stevenson. So if they were going to move him for sure, I think they maybe would have right now. I still think he will be moved by the end of today, but less and less confident essentially by the hour.
Yeah, I'm listing, and I'm likely trading him. I can't. Like the video with Jim Day is sad and all those things. Guess what? They haven't gotten an extension done until now. So why not? Deep down, if he was like, I have to be a Red, well, they would have found common ground. They haven't. Part of that has to do with the Reds. I'm not blaming him. I'm not saying that at all. He should get as much money as he can. This is the unfortunate part of the business. Is he the top catcher available?
It's probably Ryan Jeffers or Adley Rutschman, but he's up there.
Well, if are they available?
Yeah.
But that's it. Is like he might be the top catcher available. You might be able to get a decent amount for him, and even if you can get something remotely okay, if you know you're not paying him, and the Reds know. That's the other thing here. The Reds know if they're paying him or not, and they're going to get an offer. This is the one guy where I'm like, they're going to get an offer of something of value for Tyler Stevenson. So I'm listing it and I'm trading him before 6.
It's the easiest, and if not the easiest, the second easiest decision on this list. He absolutely should be moved. I'm just losing confidence that they will.
Brady Singer coming off maybe his best start of the season, free agent at the end of the season. James.
List. And the starting pitching market getting moved around, all those things. I would not be shocked if they could get something decent for Brady Singer.
Yeah, this is the easiest one. Gotta move him. No way around it.
All right, last one. Blade.
No, keep him. Too good at Great American.
I'm listing it. Great American, Great Shamerican. It doesn't matter to me, man. Hey, if you can get something of value for J.J. Blade, do it. But I'm not going to give them away. You don't got to give these guys away. You don't got to give Dane Myers away or Nathaniel Lowe away or Brock Burke away. Or Eugenio Suarez? You giving him away? You'd give him away. You'd Uber him to the next destination.
I'll pay for it.
All right, listing
Kalen
that.
Black style.
Man, goodness gracious, this guy. He'd call an Uber for Eugenio Suarez. We don't do that. You order him. Up next, what else would Jacob Tissot do ahead of the deadline? That's next right here on First Word.
comes to James Brooks, you got to play with him for a handful of years. I mean, what was it like, being one of the linemen, blocking for him, especially when he would hit a hole like what he would?
Well, first of all, I'm old school. I didn't talk a lot during games, and JB loved to talk trash. I mean, it was like, and why not? He could back it up. But, it was fun. It was fun because, it's funny. I always give a little history on the zone blocking scheme because people think it's something new, but we ran it just about my whole career. And to have a guy like James Brooks running it was fun because, you just take care of your job, and all of a sudden all you see is the back of 21 and Brooks on the back. The guy was amazing hitting holes, and like I said, if there wasn't much of a hole, he made the hole because the strength that guy had as a running back was amazing. I mean, like I said, he could run around you and he could run through you. So being able to block for James Brooks was a lot of fun, and of course we had some great linemen that we worked together to do that. And like I said, I mean, you could play action fake, and if Boomer didn't see anything downfield, he could always, dump it off to JB, and it was an automatic catch because JB didn't drop many things, and then he would do his thing after that, running the football. So just an all-around great running back, so it's great to have him in the Ring of Honor.
Championship 2 years ago, fell a little bit short last year. The schedule is no joke this season. Takes a little bit of a step forward from last year. How do you think the Buckeyes are going to attack a much more difficult schedule than they've seen in the last couple seasons?
Yeah, Jacob, this schedule is crazy when you think about it. They have road games at Texas, which is predicted to be in the top 3 or 4. Another road game at USC, which is projected to be in the top 15. Then also at Iowa, which is a top 20 team potentially, at Nebraska, very tough place to play. And your easy one was supposed to be at Indiana, which has been down forever, except they're the defending national champions. So this is by far the toughest road schedule that I can ever recall from Ohio State. Oh, and then at home, you're going to play Illinois, which was a top 25 team last year, Oregon, which is predicted by some to win the national championship this year, and your rival, Michigan, with its new head coach, Kyle Whittingham, wanting to come in and establish something right away. So it doesn't get much tougher than those 8 games right there that we outlined, and I think it's going to be, if they get to the end of this season 11-1 or 12-0, they will have really accomplished something.
This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe. The trade deadline. Tick, 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 tick. You ready? Are you ready? 7 hours and 26 minutes away. Just checking to make sure my mic was on. 7 hours and 26 minutes.
I thought you were checking your clock there.
It's funny to check that mid bringing in the segment.
I've done that a few times today. You know why? I'm new. I just got here. What do you mean? I've been here
It's been a while. Whew.
Basically brand new again.
Take the training wheels off.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't get this back in my pocket either, so I'm going to stand. Here we go.
Just put it on the desk right
Let's
next
go.
to you.
I don't like it. I don't like it on the desk.
You did the whole countdown with it on the desk.
Not a big.
Threw me off.
Man, I stood up and I wanted to do, a little jig or something. I was like, let me sit down. Let me sit down. Dance, no dance. If Ellie De La Cruz is traded between now and that 6 o'clock trade deadline.
I will not dance.
You won't dance?
There
You
will
won't
be
hit that gritty?
no dancing.
No?
Who outside of Casey in this room is dancing? Casey, mind you, voted for the control room that they should shop Ellie. The rest of us disagree for the most part.
There should be no dancing.
No dancing.
Dancing gone forever
No
if
music?
the Reds trade Ellie De La
No
Cruz.
music at the ballpark?
No music.
None. A silent ballpark.
Silent.
Ooh, it's how the bats do that on occasion.
They do. They do just baseball
yeah,
night.
silent nights.
That's your night.
Love it.
That's your night. Yeah. That's bunting, no bunting, down runs, and all the stupid baseball rules that I hate. Anyways, the trade deadline is 7 hours and 24 minutes away. Will the Reds make a move? They haven't as of yet, but Terry Francona thinks that they might. He says the front office is working, but he's going to turn the other cheek and not pay attention. Here's what Tito had to say.
Well, plan on sleeping in because we could use it an off day. I hadn't even given any thought. I was so wrapped up in the game, and I really get wrapped up in our game. Whatever. I know the guys are working, and that's not my area, and I don't want it to be.
We've seen a lot of teams, sick guys who could get traded or do different things. The motivation, I guess, was just win and kind of not worry about any of the trade deadline stuff whatsoever.
Oh boy, I think you're talking maybe about pitchers that some guys maybe get pulled. I'm not that smart, and I know it. I just wanted us to try to win today. That's the best thing I know.
Not shocked at all that that's what Tito said. Literally, when I saw he was asked about the deadline, I was like, oh, he's going to say, I was just focused on today. It's not my job. Before we dive into trades, guys that should trade or not, you buying that? You think Tito has a big say in the deadline?
No, I don't. I don't think Terry Francona or any Reds manager ever has a big say in roster construction. I think this is run by the ownership first and then the GM who's been with this team for over 20 years. I think those guys are in control of the roster, and that's why we see a lot of moves that don't necessarily always make sense based on the current group they have.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think that Elly De La Cruz probably not getting moved, shouldn't get moved unless they get blown away. And I mean blown away as in getting offered $100,000 for Jacob Tissot's truck. That's not, we talked about this.
I'd take that.
$100,000. Yeah.
I love my truck. I'd take that.
Yeah, that's right. So like if you get offered, what is your truck worth, roughly?
Not a lot. It's in a bad spot right now.
All I know is we have an old Honda Civic, and it's old as in like 12 years old. You offer me $50,000 for the Civic. Guess what? That's gone. It doesn't matter that it's reliable. It doesn't matter that it's just gone. It's an easy decision. It needs to be that kind of blown away offer for Elly De La Cruz because he isn't a Honda Civic. He's the Ferrari, and you don't just give away Ferraris to give them away. So there you go. There's the Elly De La Cruz part of it. Is there anything on Hunter here? Let's go. We're going to go down the line because Hunter Green to me is different. He's not necessarily the Ferrari. He's the whatever you want to call him. Really nice car. But I would listen on him. I would be far more willing to listen on Hunter Green. Doesn't mean give him away. Still won a ton. But I would listen on Hunter Green to a much different level than I would Elly De La Cruz.
If we're listening on players because they can bring back awesome returns, why aren't we listening on Andrew Abbott as well?
I think the Reds should listen on. I think they take every call. I don't think there's a call you don't take.
I just feel like Hunter gets talked about a lot here. I don't know really what the difference between him and Abbott is in this rotation.
Healthy, not.
So you can trade one at peak value right now and one at not peak value, and we're focused on trading the one that's not at peak value?
I'm not saying I would trade any of them.
I'm just the conference where there's no talk about Abbott because he can slide into that too if Green's gone, but there's all this talk about I don't understand what the difference is between the two of them, and I think Hunter Green's a significantly better pitcher.
What's the difference in value you're getting? That would be it.
Which I think you're getting less for Hunter than what his maximum is.
You don't know that though, because then don't trade him, of course, but. If I'm a team, I know I have to give up a lot to get Hunter Green. It's a great value.
More or less than Screwball?
More.
You think? I'm not necessarily in the same boat.
Oh, if I'm the Reds, it's definitely more.
Right, which I don't think you have a chance of happening.
Not a chance, really.
I don't think
years of control.
I don't think you get Zaire Hope from the Dodgers for
months.
Hunter Green.
2 months.
Yeah, but it's not a rental from the Dodgers.
The Dodgers don't care.
Right.
Other teams do. What are the Brewers giving you?
They marked off their top, 4 prospects for Screwball, so I would imagine none of them for Green either.
I would be... The Brewers are the opposite. They care about the control. The Dodgers don't because they'd just find the next one. Right? Like, Green's just a number to them. Screwball's just a number to them. They'll either pay him or move on. I think Green to the Brewers, that control, that matters. That's all. Like, he'll have value just because he's under contract.
For sure. And I think it's
Not
more
just
likely
because
a
he's a
team
great
like
pitcher.
the Brewers or the Rays trades for a Hunter Green than a Screwball.
Yeah.
But I think by those two teams marking off their top 5 prospects for Screwball, it tells you what they'd be willing to give for Hunter. And it needs to be one of those loaded farm systems, which I just don't think you can glean a top prospect. And I think the weekend proved that.
I think, it's 2 different conversations. Like, the Dodgers, they don't care about the control because it doesn't matter to them. The Brewers and Rays need it.
Right.
Like the Reds need it.
Yeah.
Which is why, to your point, why you don't want the Reds to trade Hunter Green because they have it. And he's a really, really good player. Marisa, these aren't the only two players. And we've talked about plenty, but the trade deadline, tick, tick, tick. 7 hours, 19 minutes.
I've been so impressed with your ability to do math on the fly here on First Word. But you're right. We ran out of time last segment. We didn't get to all the players that could potentially be dealt by the Reds before the trade deadline at
7 hours and 19 minutes, 6 p.m.
Good work there. I was testing you a little bit.
I had to look at the clock.
It's been like 10 seconds.
Yeah. So next on the list, let's talk about Nathaniel Lowe, free agent after the end of the season, but he's been on kind of a tear for this Reds team, batting over 360 over the last week here, has 2 home runs in the last 15 days. Jacob, keeping him, parting with him?
He's beyond gone. And I was scratching my head before this weekend that he was still in the lineups. It made no sense to me that you're playing Nathaniel Lowe on Saturday and Sunday on an expiring contract with insane value right now. He needs to be moved. There is no excuse to not move Nathaniel Lowe, and I think it should have been done by now. That's why I'm starting to get concerned that it wouldn't. These layups not being made at this point in the deadline cycle is starting to really scare me. But he seems like an absolute no-brainer in my mind. Gotta move Nathaniel Lowe.
Yes. I mean, yes. I don't like going into anything saying I have to do this. But as long as you get something that you want.
Something.
That you want. That's where I have to be clear. Because if you get 2 offers and they're both guys you just don't think are good, then what's the point? Yeah. You can't do that.
Good when?
Oh, no.
I don't need.
The when doesn't matter.
Okay.
Guys you like.
Then we're saying.
Yeah. Like, it's real easy to say, trade this guy, period. And it's like, well, yeah, but what if the offers are an 18-year-old that you don't even think is good and isn't going to be good? Well, then do you really want to invest time and effort into that 18-year-old? No. I'll just not make the deal. So there's that asterisk. That's it, though. Yes, trade him.
If you can't find something you like for Nathaniel Lowe at this deadline, you didn't try to look hard enough.
We'll see. We don't know.
Take a 17-year-old in single A that hasn't made it to the United States yet. It doesn't matter. Just find someone.
What if you don't like him?
Find someone that you can semi-talk yourself into.
Fair.
You don't got to be the biggest fan.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to trade Nathaniel Lowe for something they like. That's 2 different things. I'm just saying, on the off chance that they don't, that's probably the scenario.
All right, what about, let's go into the bullpen here. Brock Burke, he's been one of the most reliable arms for the Reds. His last 11 appearances, no earned run, just 5 hits, but he's free agent at the end of the season. So, James.
Bye-bye. That's how I waved to my 1-year-old. Bye-bye. That's it. You got 2 months left, man. That's what the whole Scooball thing, that's it. He's gone, so you got to trade him. And if a guy like Brock Burke, are you going to extend him? Is he part of the future?
I would be open to that conversation.
Okay. But the Reds know, and that's what's interesting. It's not open to the conversation. The Reds know if he's a part of their future or not today. And if they don't know that, they should know that. It's their job to know that ahead of the deadline. So if he's a part of their future, make sure you get that deal done. Or move him, assuming, again, you get something that you like of value. And that doesn't need to be an all-star. It just needs to be a prospect that you like.
Yeah, Burke leads the league in innings pitched or appearances for relievers so far this year. The 2 guys that did that last season for the Reds are Graham Ashcraft, Tony Santillan. Both lived on the IL this whole season. So I'd be really concerned putting a lot on Burke's plate next year with his usage this year. Got to ship him.
All right, last one I have for you guys quickly. Nick Lodolo under team control through next season. Do you keep him or you move on?
I thought this ship had sailed, and then The Athletic and MLB Pipeline both ranked him top 30. Get him out of here. Find a package for Nick Lodolo, and hopefully find one in the division. Love some of the prospects in that Cubs farm system right now.
It's about 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months
months
too late. Probably about 10 months too late, but it can still be great by trading Nick Lodolo between now and that 6 p.m. trade deadline. The Bengals are in pads. That's next right here on First Word.
This city has always had something to prove. While the rest of the country talked about us, we built our own voice. Blue collar, underdogs, built differently, overlooked, talked talked about like we were supposed to stay quiet. But that was never who we were, because this city doesn't wait for permission. And neither do we. And now, for the first time, Cincinnati has a network built in its image, because the biggest stories in this city deserve more than highlights. This isn't cable television. This isn't national media. This is ours. This is the Crown.
We have breaking news from the Cincinnati Bengals announced their 2026 Ring of Honor inductees. And fans, thank you for getting this one right. James Brooks and Bob Trumpy, the next two to be inducted into the Ring of Honor with the new format and with the addition of some of the modern era players. I am thrilled. I'm ecstatic that these two legends are being inducted and being honored in this way. Absolutely deserved it this year.
Excitement, absolutely. A partial sigh of relief as well, and a huge thank you to the season ticket holders and fans that got this one right. Prioritizing the guys who have done it before, and it's a shame that Bob Trumpy won't get to have his day in the stadium to see his induction, but certainly well deserving of the moment. James Brooks as well. You ask anyone that's watched him play, a lot of people say he's the best running back to ever wear the stripes. So it's a very, very good class for the Ring of Honor. Two incredibly deserving players and absolute legends of the franchise. This is what you do a Ring of Honor for. So players like James Brooks, Bob Trumpy, and a long list of guys that have already been put in over the last few years get their recognition from the organization because they've given so much to it.
This city deserves its crown. Watch, listen, subscribe.
We are back with you on First Word all the way until 11 o'clock this morning alongside James Rapien and Jacob Tissot. I'm Marisa Contipelli, and we are back for a few more minutes. The Bengals back at practice, and we are starting to see some of those videos come through the team in pads.
Yeah, I said it worked last week when they were out there without pads, and that was good enough. But this is better. It just takes it right over. Get the pads on, get out there, start hitting each other. Now I just need to get off the show so I can turn up the sound and hear them hitting each other.
Question. At St. X, did you ever have padsless practices after camp actually started?
No.
Yeah.
Well, we wouldn't wear pants some days.
Sure, but you'd always have shells on. Yeah. I figured. These pros with their CBA going padsless days.
Crazy.
Now they have pads on, and there you go. You get to see a little Demetrius Knight, the team stretching. Oh, there he is. There's Barrett Carter. There's Barrett Carter. It is a big day at Bengals training camp and at the practice fields there across from Paycor Stadium. Look.
It's a great sight.
It is a great sight, and I'm really excited to see a couple of things. One, Joe Burrow rebounded on Saturday. but struggled a bit early in that practice. Had the interception, had another interception that Jasir Taylor dropped over the middle. He was targeting Andre Yosevach. All right, Joe, let's see how you start in pads. I'm just curious to see how it is. And then on the other side, of course, are you going to be able to keep Joe upright, or is Sexy Dexy in pads going to wreak havoc on number 9?
Well, first things first, Joe Burrow should stay upright regardless whether they're in pads or not.
You know what I mean.
I want to be very clear. We saw Jalen Davis tackle on Mike Gesicki. We need to be very clear. Upright.
There would be a full-out brawl if someone tackles Joe Burrow.
Keep Joe Burrow upright is something I'm used to saying, obviously, when it comes. Protect Joe Burrow, not rush, not have plays blown dead, all of the normal practice stuff. Yes, he's wearing the orange jersey. That's it. Get between me and Jacob away and then stop. That's it. That's what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, but the headliners for me going into training camp was I wanted to see the offense and defensive line go against each other, and I wanted to see Jamar and Joe back out there again together. So all that really doesn't happen until they have pads on, and now you can see it full speed. So really excited for today and the rest of this week.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what the linebackers look like in pads too. Thought they looked impressive first couple of days last week. What are Barrett Carter and Demetrius Knight going to look like now, kind of maybe going a little bit more full speed?
Yeah, that's it. Is full speed, real football simulation, and I'm excited to see these corners against these receivers. I think this is when you're going to really see T, Jamar. We saw a little bit of Jamar last week, of course. He had the dust up and all those things. Jamar made some plays. Didn't see a ton of T. Mm-hmm. This could be the T day.
T day.
I'm in for a T day.
Yeah, it's coming. At some point, it's coming. So, yeah. Pads day, we'll react to it. There's going to be a ton of clips, ton of stuff. I'm sure players will talk to us after about it. We'll hear from them on tomorrow's show as well. The trade deadline, 7 hours, 8 minutes. Over under number of trades. It just changed. Don't do that to me.
Had to.
Don't do me like that. 7 hours, 7 minutes. Over under number of trades. Has it changed?
No, there better be at least 4.
4? No Ellie.
Yeah, no Ellie, no Hunter. So
how many trades?
Under 4, that's for sure.
2?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm at
1 or
2.
2.
I'm at 2.
Just a horribly mishandled deadline for a team that can't compete, if that's the case.
And that may lead the show tomorrow. Or Bengals and Pads may lead the show. Or U.S. soccer news, because we have a little soccer news for you.
We do. Kind of the news we were expecting. Wasn't sure when this was going to break, but the U.S. men's national team deciding to extend coach Mauricio Pochettino, agreed to a new contract through the 2030 FIFA World Cup. Thought this was great. Of course, Ponch was hired in September of 2024, so now he gets a full cycle really under his belt to work with his staff there and to hopefully shape U.S. soccer into a new direction. There's a lot coming up. I mean, obviously you have the 2030 World Cup, but of course the 2028 Olympics that are going to be in our backyard over in L.A., and not to mention the rest of the cycle there between the CONCACAF and Gold Cup and all of the league champions there too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited about this one. Must not remember how that last game went. So I'm not thrilled about this one. If you want to be more than what U.S. soccer's been for the last however many years, you don't just bring back mediocrity.
No, that's exactly why they're bringing him back, is to change. Tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow.
Oh, we'll talk tomorrow.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Wait, yeah.
This is the right move.
It'll definitely be in While You Slept. This is the right move. Wow.
Yeah. Stay tier 2.
My mind did think about what I saw last. I will say that. I do understand your side, too. I'll have more time to digest it. You know what else we'll have time to do? React to all things Bengals, Pads, all things MLB trade deadline as well. This is the fun. This is where the fun starts. We are your morning sports show, Cincinnati, every single weekday. So if the Reds make 1,000 trades between now and 6 o'clock, well, guess what? Wake up with us. If Joe Burrow stays upright, but there's a ton going on at Bengals training camp, we're going to have you covered all football season long. Make sure you stream us live on X, on YouTube, watch on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network. You can listen live on Mixlr. And it's not just us. The Working Lunch with Jack Crumley, noon to 1 every single weekday right here on The Crown. The Rebound Rundown with Paul Fritchner, The Nat Jones Show, and Nat tries that as well. You guys held it down when I was gone. Thank you for that.
I got you.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm excited to be here. We're excited to be here. We'll talk to you tomorrow. For Jacob Tissot, Marisa Contipelli, and the entire First Word crew, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening to First Word.